pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Heavenly Father, we just come before you in the name of Jesus, Lord. We're thankful for this day. And God, we just lift up to you all the people that have been displaced from their homes in these 2 hurricanes. Just be with them, send them the help they need in the name of Jesus. And God, just have your way here in this meeting. Let wisdom reign. In Jesus' mighty name, we thank you and we praise you.
Amen.
All right, we'll start the roll call down there with you, Tim.
Timothy Kirk here.
Laurie Gunnison here.
Jim Keegan here.
Charles Terrio, Chair.
Dan Salaga here.
All right, under our regular business, do we want to do the minutes after we get the public hearings out of the way? Okay. So the first one we have on the list is Danielle Dugay, but we'll put that to the end of the public hearings. And we'll start with Paul Gagnon, since he's here, 30 Shore Drive. Does everybody have that?
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Do you have the information for us? That I think it's in here. Perfect. Awesome. I see it now.
And the survey.
Oh,
there.
Oh, nice. You've been busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So it looks like you have from, what are they requesting? It should be a distance area variance, right?
23.4 to 24.3.
5A, B3 of the zoning ordinance. 23.4 from the road and 24.3 from the road, which it looks like it's roughly probably
Yeah.
20 feet on one side, or maybe 19 on this side possibly, whatever that distance is, and then 20 roughly on the right side, if you're sitting at the garage.
Yeah, they weren't gonna do that until I said, well, I showed them the sketch you gave Robin, and I said, well, this is what he wants, so you have to make sure it goes from point to point.
Yeah, and they went from the road, but I mean,
Yep.
it's still close enough. I mean, we can sort of discern that you're probably like 19 feet on one side and 20 roughly on the other, or maybe 21, something like that. And what was it? I know that we're at 50 feet, but what was the permit? I don't remember. What on this
30.
one? 30, that was in the permit?
Which covers this.
What did you ask, Lori?
I said that would cover this, correct?
No.
Because,
No, his permit was for 30 feet. He's underneath that. He's at 19 and 20 or
The
21.
ordinance is 50, right?
50, and then he got a permit from the town
oh, okay.
by mistake for 30, and then it ended up being even shorter than
Oh,
that.
I see,
distance.
okay, yeah.
Closer.
So technically what we would, does that mean he needs a variance for like the 21 feet? Is that how it would work? Or no?
Well, he's already given us this map, so it's already on there.
Okay.
That's all on there, showing that, you know, where it is.
Oh, out on the other side.
The one that you have like a bigger version of this that you,
I do, I gave Robin.
Okay.
Yeah. Big- Yeah, I did give her.
and that one's stamped?
Yes.
Perfect, that's all I want to make sure, that's good.
So, I have a question. How do you feel like this happened? Obviously, the 50-foot one, I know that you said you spoke with Carl,
Yep.
and he okayed 30 feet, which he shouldn't have. You should have had to come before us, try to get a variance for that. So, you know, that's another issue, probably more for,
I really didn't speak.
But,
I just got the permit that said it was that.
right, so, okay, okay.
Did you give us a copy of original permit? Just so we
But,
can,
so I'm just curious, how did it go from 30 to 20? how did that happen?
My wife has suggested that she took it from the state permit that we had to get prior to. So she said 30 back then, and that was the mistake she said she made.
Okay,
And
right,
And
so,
then the contractor who put the floor, I mean, the pad in and all that, he never apparently checked it all out or anything, or nobody actually.
well, right, but, so when you, just so it's clear in my head,
Yeah,
when you spoke with the contractor to start the process,
yeah,
I'm assuming that you said, I want a garage that's 24 by 24. I'm assuming that you probably showed him the building permit.
no, I just had it on, he never asked me about it. Never asked, it was on my window, like I'm supposed to put a permit there. But
Okay.
he never really discussed it at all.
So who did the layout is what he's asking you. Who-
Right,
who put the stakes in?
how did the garage,
He did,
how did the, because at that point,
yeah,
as far as you were concerned, and apparently the town was concerned, the garage should have been 30 feet off the right of way, actually, but, and like we had discussed before, we probably would add a little wiggle room if somebody would have said, well, you're going off the edge of the road. I think that's a common mistake probably sometimes people make, but for it to only be 20 feet, that's off the edge of the road. It's 20 feet from the edge of the road, right?
well,
At
it's
the-
actually 24.
From the edge of the right of way.
24 something.
24 something from the
But
I would
edge
go
of the road,
24 and a
from
half
the
at
pavement.
least.
But the right of way is 20 or 19.
All right,
Right.
so it still didn't make the 30 feet. So I'm wondering, so who's responsible for that, I guess, is what I'm asking. Is it the contractor that,
Put the stakes in, that's what you're trying to ask. Who
right,
laid the layout?
I mean, who's assuming the responsibility for where that garage is? Is it the contractor? Did you tell him to build it where it's built?
Yep.
Specifically? Did you put the stakes in the ground, say this is where I want my
No.
garage?
No.
Or,
I
yeah,
did not.
I mean, it's, because, I'm gonna be honest, this is a pretty big flub up here on somebody's part. I'm just, in this day and age, these guys know
Yeah,
that, the rules and ordinances are paramount. There shouldn't be a contractor out there that doesn't carefully measure the setbacks, and I'm sure you know why now.
yeah.
And, yeah, so I guess my next question is,
But I have a question. Based on these new setbacks in his survey design that's got a seal and everything, we can no longer do the equitable waiver, is that correct?
Right.
Because it wasn't
Well,
on, so this is
Right.
now gonna
That-
be just the zoning variance?
Right.
Okay. the
And what I
variance.
think Jim's trying to allude to is, as far as liability, it goes back, if the contractor put the stakes in, it's on his insurance, right? It's his responsibility or his insurance, whatever he gave you. If that has to be torn down, it's all on him, right? I mean, and if we approve it, what he's trying to get at is, we're setting the standard, no matter how much, it's all gonna be equal. So somebody can come in and ask for that 19 feet based on what we give you. Because you had a permit for 30, even though that was wrong, you've got an actual written permit for that. And if you built it within 30, nobody else could come in and say, I want 30. We could say, no, it's 50, and the town made the mistake. But now that it's less than that, if we approve it, everybody else can come after and say, we want 19
But
feet.
I disagree, every situation is completely different.
No, that's how the
law.
law would be.
Oh.
If somebody, you're setting the standard, right?
Yeah.
Because if he was in the 30 feet, it's the town's mistake, we do that equitable waiver,
Right,
and it's
yeah.
done.
No, you're not setting a standard. You're
Yep.
making
Precedence.
You're making it.
Exactly, there's not gonna
It's
be
an
another
exception.
exception.
The only way you change the standard is if you rewrite the ordinance. This would be an exception. It's
Mhm.
not a new standard.
Well, that's not what the lawyer said that other night when she found out that it was closer than the 30 feet. I'm not sure if you were there, but she was flabbergasted that we were closer than, he was closer than the 30 feet. So she said it set a whole new change of everything.
Well, I was as well, because I was assuming from the start of it that the problem we had was because the building inspector told you that you could build it 30 feet. So I was assuming the garage was 30 feet off the, or at least off the pavement.
So,
Yeah, this is a can of worms.
Well, you know, I've driven by there, I've seen it, there, to me, there doesn't seem to be any safety issues. I mean, there is plenty of, setbacks on each side, you know, there's a lot of different openness, you know, and it's not so close to the neighbors, and I know the neighbors are 100% okay with everything. I'm just saying too, but, and even as you drive further down the street, further down, there are other situations that the same, are closer. So, I mean, it is in these non-conforming lots in that neighborhood,
Well,
so.
as far as other building structures being closer, the only thing I'd say to that is there are several. There are houses that are, there's one right there within walking distance that's probably 15 feet
yeah,
off the
it is.
road.
Yeah.
But
But they were
that's,
years
you
ago.
know, that, and a lot of these are years ago. And right now, you know, we are trying our best to get, you know, reasonable ordinances and get them adhered to, you know, in the best interest of the town. I don't know, what's the best course going forward here? Do we need to
I mean, he's gotta,
speak with legal and ask her what our options
Why-
are? And then, I mean, we can't simply sit here tonight and say, oh, one of us rode by and looked at it and it should be all set and make a decision, I don't think.
well,
You know, and I really don't think that we're ready to make the decision tonight that it has to be torn down either without checking on some other stuff. So where are we at? That's all I'm
well,
asking.
he has the option of anything. He can try and plead the different stages of the variance, you know, the 5 criteria, and see if we vote on it. Or he can choose to do the other option and ask us to check with legal and see what precedent it sets, or exemption, like she said.
The only thing is, this is like the 3rd or 4th time I've been here.
Exactly.
The first time it was all
This has been
set,
going on for a long time.
and you didn't need to get a permit, I mean, whatchamacallit? I just
We were
gave-
gonna give you a
Equitable.
equitable
Waiver.
waiver.
Prior to that, when we had the meeting, you guys said, I don't need a survey, you folks.
That was the
And I
first
said,
I don't think
meeting.
I ever said that.
So then
I
I
would
turn
never have
around
said
and I go pay big money to get a survey done, okay? And I'm going, what's going on here? There's something, really? That this has never happened before?
Well,
with anybody
I
else?
disagree with you. I've never said that, and Jimmy
Oh.
agreed that I've never said you didn't need a.
The very first meeting,
Very first meeting they
very
did.
first meeting, we clearly said that, because he came in with the
And-
variance.
Hold on.
And we told him
Gentlemen
he
also
needed to
agreed
apply
with
for an equitable waiver and come back with an equitable
Yes,
waiver.
apply for an equitable waiver
And-
and come back. At that time,
Yeah,
I assumed that it was all on
the same
the
exact.
building inspector by saying you could build it 30 feet from the road. I think we were all in agreement at that point that if the building inspector made a mistake and told you to build it 30 feet from the road, we were all in favor of saying, okay, we'll give him an equitable waiver, and you would have been free and clear and all set. But someone pointed out that it looked much closer than 30 feet from the road, and that's where the discussion started about how close is it, where's the setback, where is all of that. The only way to be sure exactly how far your structure is from the setback from the right of way is to have it surveyed. I mean, unless, and we told you, unless you could find the pins, you know,
We did.
real certified pins
Yep.
to measure from, and then you could go off your own measurement. I would submit to you that whether you're off your own measurement or a survey's measurement, we now find that the structure is less than 25 feet
Well,
from
no.
let me finish, please, from the setback, which has now created this whole host of problems. That's how I see it.
Yes.
If anybody,
I just want to know, I don't see 19 feet, it says 23.4, so how far?
I don't know whether the 19.
The 19 is from the right of way, which is what you really are supposed to measure from in the variance.
Depends on, it says it's 23. Doesn't, nobody where it
It's
says,
actually 23.4.
From the road, that's the road, the right of way is this line.
Doesn't say the right of way, it says the road.
It's
I
actually
would-
24 feet.
If,
What is she
can
talking
you,
about?
can you explain to me where else he would build this garage?
You can't. It's impossible.
right,
You'd build a one-car garage or whatever, and you wouldn't build a garage on this, and we've had this discussion before about changing the regs on those lots, right? You'd either have to change the regs with different
but
setbacks.
that's in the future,
Or you don't
that's,
build garages on these
Okay.
lots.
Exactly.
You know, that's the difference.
right, it's just
I
that
can
simple.
understand, but I was given a permit to do it.
Within
Yeah.
30 feet.
Okay. Yeah.
and it's 23.4. Linda, I'd like you to share some more of your opinion.
Hold on, Dan has a question.
Well, I don't have a
Statement.
question, I have a suggestion. The town messed up to begin, okay? That permit should have never been issued for the distance that they have before they came to the
I
plan.
agree.
This gentleman put this up at his house on the window where it was belonged.
Now, what did you
The
say?
contractor
Yeah,
didn't do what he was supposed to do. And even with all of that, he's been around and around and around, and it would be a big hardship for him.
It is.
Okay, to tear this all down, now he's got no place to put the garage anyway.
Exactly.
All right, because there's no place there, he doesn't have enough room. So, he should have been denied the permit to begin with. But where he wasn't denied a permit, he's gone ahead with good faith to him and did what
And did
He
what you
did.
guys asked me to do,
Jump through
get a
every
survey, and
Yep.
I've spent a lot of money on this now already.
I think-
Okay.
I think it's fine.
We vote. I
I think we should.
I make a motion that we vote.
I,
We
I,
move on this.
and I'd like to second that motion.
Hold on. We have so what are we talking about here? Giving a variance, correct?
Giving him a variance from where it's at right now.
Yes.
Because the hardship the gentleman has already gone
Well,
through is incredible.
I
It's
understand that.
originally our fault as a town.
No,
well, there's other things that happen too.
if that garage was 30 feet, even from the edge of the road,
We would allow it.
which is what the
Which is
permit,
impossible.
which is what the permit said, no, it's not.
Where's he gonna put it?
Believe me, that garage could go over 5 more feet from where it is right now.
Because he has an opening in the front.
Yeah.
of that survey.
So all I'm saying is, we have a criteria. I don't know exactly what these people are sitting here waiting to ask, but it has to be applied the same way every time. So if we're gonna grant him a variance, he has to fill out the application and go through those same criteria as everybody else.
He has an application.
He has
Well, and then we have to discuss it and vote on it.
on each of the
Okay,
criteria.
so what you need to do
That's
now
all I'm
is-
saying is the same procedure
I got a what?
has to be followed the same way for everyone.
Based on the laws and regulations and the bylaws, you need to read your application to us and the criteria before we vote. So,
New garage with the new distance is 23.4 to 24.3 from the edge of the road. And that for the proposed use would not diminish surrounding properties value, which is that game. The garage is well-built, attractive, and has undoubtedly increased my home value, thereby increasing the home values of my neighbors. The garage does not interfere with any traffic or line of sight to allow public safety, vehicles hindering the use of the road. Okay, then I get to the variance. This is only an unconventional lot size with restrictions to the Sunrise Lake proximity. And then you get to the other area and it says, due to the small lot size, we cannot build the garage to the required 50 feet because of the abutting properties, septic and house placement. Then you get to the other part and it goes, the garage was constructed under a approved permit from the state of New Hampshire and the town of Middleton. The permit was approved at 30 and was unintentionally but at 23, but really we know it's now 24. Since the permit was allowed a variance to begin with respectful request of the added difference. Okay. And the use of the contrary spirit of that. It allows a safe, unchanged travel for all traffic. There is no traffic issue. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
You guys want to discuss each one? We'll start with the first one.
Linda, do you want to discuss any of these questions?
We had a motion and you seconded it. right?
Yes.
So
What's the motion?
I made a motion that we vote on this.
Well, I don't think we can vote on it without discussing it, can we?
No, this is the discussion point. Right.
Yes, but the motion's been made and seconded. Now we're in the discussion portion of this.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm going to discuss that. I have seen this. I don't think that there's any safety issues. I do agree with him that it is well-built, and we're looking at not 19 feet based on the sealed stamp and stuff. He applied for 30. Now he's asked, it's going to be 23.4, so we're looking at 7 feet difference from what initially happened. And I do agree that it's not contrary to the spirit of the ordinance. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if anybody else want to make some comments.
Well, I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion now.
Well, we gotta first vote on the first one.
Okay,
So we either gotta deny that, we have to take a vote on that, and then we can make another motion if that fails. If it passes, we're done.
well, all right, I'll just make a comment.
Okay, you can make a comment.
That so we're going to go away from the normal way that we generally do this for anybody else.
Yep.
We're not going to go over every step of the criteria
Correct.
in discussion. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
We're
that's
just
what-
gonna read it as a whole and vote on it?
Correct, that's what they're proposing.
Well, look, no,
You can vote on,
We can
look
have
at
a
each
discussion.
one individually. It's just.
Well, that's what you're supposed to
I
do,
mean,
vote on
we've
each
been-
one
We've
individually.
been doing this for how many months now?
yeah, right.
Since I joined the board, just about, this has been on the docket.
Yep.
This man and his wife and the family, they have done everything that we have asked them to do, and I think they deserve to get an answer tonight. And if you want to go through every criteria again for the 4th time, then let's do it and get it done.
Well, I don't necessarily want to, but I think it would be
Then
prudent.
let's do it. Let's do it.
So do you wanna rescind the motion, the previous motion?
Well, this is part of the
Well, this
discussion.
is part of the discussion. So
Well, the
we'll
only way
vote
to-
on each one.
Well, the only way to do it is to rescind that first motion and then vote
Fine,
on
I
it.
rescind the motion to vote, which would have included the review,
Okay,
so that you can do the review separate, and then
Let's vote on
let's
each
get
section.
this
yeah.
done.
So you're the
Is there a
chair.
discussion
Yes.
on the section
We'll
one?
discuss
So
each and
We
every
will, we'll
one.
discuss each one and vote on each one, like you're supposed to do, and then come to the conclusion at the end. All right, the first one of the proposed use would not diminish surrounding property values because. We're gonna have a discussion on that?
We can, if you'd like.
I'm good with it. What do you say?
What do you think, Jim?
I believe it is not going to diminish the property values. I think it's going to increase the property values in the neighborhood.
I can live with it either way, it doesn't matter to me.
I mean, I think since you have other ones that are closer even in the neighborhood, I don't think it would change the property values. It wouldn't diminish them or I wouldn't think, because you have other ones nearby that are closer to the road, so. We'll take a vote on that one. Do you have
Yes.
any other discussion? You guys?
Let's vote on
All in favor of approving the first one, number one?
that.
Aye.
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 All right, so that one passes. So number two, granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest because, and we already read it, so we'll have some discussion on that. I mean,
Which one is number two?
Number two, the granting the variance would not be contrary to public interest, which would be the distance from the road for, and you have a lot of interest in that because of the plowing and stuff like that, and if there's any cars.
And there's plenty of room for a fire truck. There's plenty of room for a police officer. I mean, there's no safety issues.
Actually, that did come up in our first meeting where somebody, one of you folks, I can't remember which one it was, said they'd been by the garage and it was there was plenty of room and no issues, and there was an issue whether the garage doors were on the roadside, but it's not, it's on the inside. You have to drive into my driveway to get into the garage,
Yeah.
Well,
and you still get that clearance.
I mean, I've seen it, it is well-built, and it looks fine, which is why I agreed with the first one. I don't agree that it's, within the public interest, because obviously, somebody wrote that ordinance, and it was for a reason. And, it basically has thrown that right out the window. First to 30 feet by the building inspector, and then another 6 feet by the contractor. My concern is safety. If you sold that house and a young couple bought it and there were kids playing basketball in the yard and the basketball goes out on the road, the kid is only 6 feet from the road. So that's a concern. But I don't know what everybody else's feelings
Well,
on
and
it.
that's true. I mean, I disagree a little bit with Linda, only from what the attorney told us, that it does set somewhat of a precedent that if we do approve this into the public interest, it's going different from what the original ordinance was. So that's the only concern I have.
Every
of it.
variance does that.
Every variance
Every
is because it's in
variance
this
does that.
lot.
Correct. So,
Yeah, I guess it comes down to if it's something,
It's an exception.
yeah, I'm just saying, what's gonna stop the next person from doing the same thing and coming in
And
and
they can
saying the
apply
same
for a
thing?
variance as well.
And
if it's,
and in
if
this-
it's bound, we'll give it to them.
in this
If
realm,
you don't,
it was told to me by the building inspector that there was never an inspection called in for from the time it started to the time it was finished. So he never went by there. I never went by there, and my son's best friend lives across the street. It's just unfortunate that I never have been by there while it was being built, or I would have noticed it too. So, so that's another thing. What's to stop the next guy if he gets a permit by mistake of putting it 5 feet from the road and never calling for an inspection?
Well,
and
but
doing the same thing.
we've learned this, because I'll tell you, we've already had some conversations about this, that now we're revising the application, that the inspector does need to go out on periodic visits. It has not happened, I know for a fact, it hasn't happened with other people, in myself. Never did he come back and look at things. I had a whole house built and nobody came back.
And I never put that out there, but I always thought the same thing.
They're supposed to
If
show
I
back
get a
up.
permit, where's the building inspector to verify everything is going well?
Yep. I put
Okay,
2 homes
that's the
up
way-
and a garage,
If
and
I
never
go
came
to
back.
Florida, when I go to Florida, when that town guy comes in, he comes into town and checks every stage of what's going on.
So we need to
Okay.
learn moving ahead
Well,
for our
and-
future
and-
applications.
I mean, I feel better that you've said that.
Yeah.
I don't know why you wouldn't have included that into your description here as to why. Well, it's
Yeah.
important.
Yes, I know.
It's very important, because again, you're in a bind. I'm not saying that it's in any way your fault. I'm just saying I'm in a bind for how I can get my arms around
Right.
saying yes to this. I'm not being malicious in any way.
Oh, no, I
Believe me, I
understand that.
feel terrible for you. I really, truly do. And, that is a very
It's on the
valid
permit that he
point.
signed.
What's
The
that?
Ruffin's complete. It's on the permit that you
My
signed.
permit has absolutely nothing on it.
Did you sign this permit?
I'm talking about the permit that I'm told to put on my window.
Yeah.
No, I know, but you signed this, which tells you when the inspections to call in are, right here, in 12/5/2023. Did you, is that your signature?
12/5, I wasn't here, I'm in Florida, that's the problem.
So somebody signed for this permit for you, and you weren't here? So the permit's not valid?
That's me.
Okay, so it explains here when you have to call, when the rough-in's complete, you know, there's different inspections that are required, they're on the permit.
Well, I think that he
No.
signed that and he didn't have a copy of that.
You don't
It
have
stayed
a
in the
copy of
office.
that stuff.
That stayed in the
You-
office.
you
He
put
didn't, nobody
something-
gives, he didn't get a copy. I didn't
I
get a
never
copy.
get
The other
one.
people don't
How
have.
would
No, I just want to say, you said you never knew, and it's,
No,
you
no.
signed it.
I know, I did, what I'm trying to tell you, I didn't know that the inspector doesn't come out.
No, it says you have to call.
He didn't have a
Call
copy.
48 hours notice beforehand.
I
Inspection
didn't
required,
have a
please
copy of
call.
that, though, how would I know that?
Oh, you didn't, so you didn't make a copy after you signed
This
it?
is something that we
No,
need to know
that-
for future.
Yeah,
But
Okay.
there needs to be two signed one for the office and one for the thing. I just feel like he's done his due diligence.
I
He has
just,
done his
just
due
wanted to make
diligence.
We
sure.
gotta go through
I
them
know,
all,
but- Yep.
and then we'll vote.
And that's
here in a
something to
minute.
make a note on.
This
There
is
needs to
all
be
part
two-
of the
leave a
discussion.
Copy for the future applicants. Because,
So basically, he's saying that this is not contrary to public interest. And here's his reason. It does not interfere with any traffic or lines of sight and allows public safety vehicles unhindered for the use of the road.
And no
So-
letter has come saying that they have.
none.
no about it, right?
All right, so
We should vote on this.
while we're right here, right now, discussing that building permit application, all right? How did that work? What, you went to the town hall? You said, I want to build a garage,
Yep,
okay?
paid them
And
all the money that I'm
so-
supposed to.
Yep, all right, and, it must took a little time to calculate how much your permit was gonna be?
Yep,
So did you have to wait and go back?
nope, he told me right over the phone.
He was right there,
Over the
he
phone.
told you over the phone?
Over the phone, he told me.
Okay.
He said,
And
this
then,
is what you're gonna need when you come to pay the town.
so you went down, you got the application, you filled it out, I don't know, what do you do, just sign it? What do you gotta do?
We
Just
went
sign
there,
it?
so I believe.
All right, you gotta fill out all that stuff, so with 24 by 24 slab, blah, blah, blah.
This, we should have read this, we read this 2 months ago.
Yeah, well, I need to read it again to get it clear in my head right now, all right? I'm not gonna make a decision in 2 minutes to do this.
So then he acknowledges the, you know,
Right.
the rest of the stuff on the
Right.
permit. And then when the inspections, he acknowledges that. On the next page after this stuff, acknowledges the inspections that are needed and then sign that. So it was all a complete application.
Did you read it,
As far as what?
that document
Is
right
that the
there?
state one?
No,
No.
the town.
Town, I never saw that from the town.
Well,
I know I
so,
signed it, but
okay, so how did that process work? That's all I'm wondering.
I'm trying to think.
When did you sign it? Did you sign it in front of Kyle here at the town hall? Or did he come out to the property? Did he
He did.
discuss it? Did he just say, hey, sign this?
Never discussed it.
Never
Yeah,
discussed
so-
it?
so-
So that's another thing that needs to be elaborated on.
Oh,
Yes,
I
that's what I'm
know
trying
that
to
I
find
got.
out.
I went to the town, I mean the state, they gave me mine. Then all of a sudden, I get my permit, just one yellow piece of paper that says permit, whatever, and nothing else.
Well,
There's
but
nothing on it.
At
Just
some
the
point,
permit.
you signed this, right?
Yeah, so
I
that's
guess.
your signature and you signed it in
Is
December of
that when I
2020.
gave them the money?
But must have been
probably
December
could
of 2023.
That's probably when I gave them the money, because that's the only time I.
So where did that take place?
I don't even know if it was him there.
Yeah, he was the building inspector.
But I don't think he was there.
The thing is,
Well,
what is
who
the
would
date
do
on
it?
that, Chuck? 12 of 23?
Yes.
Was that before the building was in place or not?
Yeah.
After?
Yeah,
Before?
yeah,
Okay.
before you go.
And, well, then this is something that we need to go over word to word with our future applicants.
Well, first off,
Yeah,
I would
so this,
strongly recommend going forward, any applicant, take a copy of that with
Yes.
them,
100%.
all right? That's,
Yeah, I mean, that's Carl
There's been a lot.
Okay, all right, well, Tim can take care of that end of it, that's not our job, but, so, where were you when you paid whoever it was and signed this document? Well, you also had to have filled it out, or somebody did, the dimensions on the garage and the 2x6 and all of that, you know, that
That
would
might have
have,
been my contractor, maybe.
your contractor?
Yeah.
And so he had you sign it, and then he brought it
Yeah, he
back?
probably did, yeah. Yeah,
Really?
'cause he's the one he's done quite a few garages around here.
That's
So
interesting.
he probably put that stuff down.
And he
So
never,
we've learned a lesson. We have
Well,
to,
I
we
don't know
have
that
to
we
do this
have.
differently.
no. So your contractor never called in for any inspections either?
Nope,
And
So,
he's done quite a few garages in
and
town.
he has. And he's very
And
good.
that's what concerns me is, right, if somebody goes and just gets a permit all of a sudden, even though it's wrong or whatever, and decides, oh, I don't like it there, I'm gonna put it right next to the road, and then never calls Carl, we could be back to the same exact problem that we have right now.
well,
Let's concentrate
I
on
can
this
tell you
problem.
right now, if it was me,
These
and
are
if I was
issues
running this
that
again,
fall to the permitting and to the code enforcement officer, who issues the building permit.
Well, we're setting the precedent right now, because him or his contractor never called, and it was on the thing that he
if it
signed.
was me right now, if I was doing it again, I would make darn sure that I would expect Carl to be coming to my place.
Well,
to
no, he
make
only
sure-
comes
well,
when he's caught.
I tell you what,
I
I'd make,
could have called, I would.
I would probably make darn sure your contractor
Right.
pays attention to the
Exactly,
zoning
that
ordinances
too.
of this town. I mean, I'm not liking, who was your contractor?
I'd like, Linda was making a comment and we didn't get
He
to
did
say
the one
it.
on Lake Shore Drive, Peter Scala.
Peter
Scala.
Scallon.
Peter Scala.
Peter
Linda, you were saying
He's done
something?
quite a few of them.
No, I just said that these are issues that need to be raised with code enforcement and issuance of permits. It's not something
Well, this is
that
after
falls
permit.
in our bailiwick.
Well, it
We
gives
are
us,
looking at this application here and now, and these four corners are what we're dealing with. And our recommendations to the code enforcement officer are separate and apart from this application.
Well, we're trying to get, I am just trying to
Yes.
get the bottom of how this could have happened.
At this point, it doesn't matter.
Well, I think it matters
I don't
quite a
think
bit.
it is, because we know that he got a permit from the state, he got a permit from the town. A
He
mistake
he
was
did
made.
not adhere to the permit that he did get
Well, that's
from the
what we're
town.
dealing with, we're not dealing with when did you sign it, where did you sign it, were you here, were you
Well, no,
there?
he made a
When did you-
statement
Well,
that
I'm
he-
trying to get to the bottom of how it went from 30 feet to 20 feet.
Nope,
I
23.
already, yeah.
He's
Not
already
20,
told
it's
us
not
that.
23 from the right of
He's
way.
already told
right, and
us
this,
that.
this clearly says right away
It's
on this.
not.
This says right away on this, from the right away, from the front line right away.
So we're talking 7 feet difference.
Well, no,
Mistakes
it's-
happen. The garage is built.
Right, so we're just trying
Continue,
to,
let's continue with voting if we can.
all right, so somebody's, we gotta make a motion on the second one.
I make a motion that we accept the second one,
Approve it, you mean,
approve it, yes.
Vote?
you wanna second it?
Yes, I'll second it.
All right, we're gonna have a vote, all in favor?
Aye.
No,
Any opposed? No.
no.
No,
2 opposed and 3,
No, there's one opposed.
no, me and him are both
Oh,
opposed.
Are you voting on criteria
2.
Yes.
Yep, so there was, it passes because there was 3
Passes.
for it and 2 against it. All right, moving on to the area variances of 3.2A. Following special conditions of the property make an area variance necessary in order to allow the development as designed.
Huh?
denial of the variance, okay, so.
Which makes the area variance necessary in order to allow the development as designed. This,
We know
the
that-
building as designed, and it's not built as designed, so I don't know if that one really applies.
What's the comment?
Or that this is an unconventional lot size with restrictions. It wasn't built as designed, so really something different probably needs to be said there, because that doesn't really answer that question, as it was not built as designed.
Is it
Well,
required
you gotta
to?
understand, there's no other, this to me, this is my common knowledge. Area variance, denial of this, meaning the hardship, there's no other, based on that lot size, that non-conforming lot, there's no other real place that that garage could have
I
gone.
gotta go with the
That's correct.
So there is, you couldn't have put it in front of it, closer to the dock, closer to the water.
Or I'd be on
Couldn't,
a-
have- and you didn't wanna go close to both of his neighbors, so it had to be in the front of his house. So area variance to me makes it like, because of this hardship of this, maybe I'm wrong, but the lot size, this unconventional lot, there should have been some specials.
And I even made
Conditions.
sure that that garage was put so my neighbor on the other side would have clearance to the lake on both sides.
Yeah, nice, and that's
Okay.
great. Not overcrowding, not too high,
overcrowding and
not disturbing the
and
view.
neither neighbor cares less.
Yep,
I'm
Do
talking.
you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, I don't see that there's any issues here. What was done, and none of the abutters, not one abutter has complained about this. The town doesn't care as far as safety goes, you know, the road agent, everything's clear there. It's been done, he's done everything that he was asked to do. Yeah, there was some mess ups, definite mess ups, on our end, you know, as far as our administration goes in this permit and so on. So, I don't see how we can hold him at fault for this.
I agree.
oh, yeah. So you wanna
And
vote?
and everything he answers here, I don't see a problem with it.
Wait for Jim to get back to you.
Okay. So, you know, and I do apologize for saying this, and it does sound foolish, but when we say this, like if I was to say, I approve it, like I don't want to deny the variance. You get what I'm saying? The wording always confuses me a little bit, and I just need a little guidance. Because it says denial of the variance would result in not necessary hardship.
So it's
I
wait-
agree with that, so do you understand what I'm saying? Is that the way I would say that?
Somebody want to make a motion on this?
Which one is
That
it?
might answer my
I
question.
make a motion, we take a vote
Which one?
No, you gotta say approve it.
3.2,
on it. Oh, I make a
3.2.
motion that we approve this.
I'm gonna second it.
I'll second it.
And I third it?
All right.
Wait a minute, hold on. Do you have to make a motion on every number?
You're supposed to, you're gonna vote on every single one, yeah.
Yeah.
Make a motion to vote on each one?
Yeah, either approve it or deny it.
Okay.
Well, somebody might wanna make another comment.
Who
Right.
made the motion to vote on number 3?
You're supposed to,
Dan?
you're supposed to technically do that before you have all the discussions. Before you do all the discussion part, but they jump right into the discussions.
Seconded?
Linda,
Thank you.
I don't think, any discussion on that anymore?
Nope.
You okay, Jim?
This has to do with the size of the,
The conventional lot, there could have been no other spot for that except that maybe it came back a little bit, but he couldn't put it on the side of the house, couldn't put it in front of the house based on that area of the lot.
well, I think he could have put it 5 feet further than what it is myself, but
Any more discussion?
No, let's vote.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed?
nope.
I'll abstain.
Is that 4 to 1?
No, it's 3 to 1.
Three.
Yeah, I'm just gonna abstain on that one.
Who's not voting? Oh, you're abstaining?
Yeah, I'm abstaining just on that one, because I mean, I think it's gonna set a precedent myself on that one. You know, and that's why I wanna abstain, because I don't wanna set precedents on it.
It was approved based on the vote.
It was based on, you had 3 votes to approve it.
Three was approved, okay.
All right, so B, the same benefit cannot be
Oh,
achieved.
that was just on
But
A?
that- I thought we voted on.
No, the whole thing. We voted on the whole thing.
3.2, which was A and B.
Well, you're
Yep.
supposed to go the whole thing, but, I mean, if you.
We discussed
We didn't
that.
do that, so you wanna do the rest of the other two, we'll go down through those.
I make a motion, we vote on B, 3.2B.
It's the same thing
Somebody-
due to the
somebody
same
second
size
it?
lot.
Somebody wanna second it?
I second it.
All right, now we'll discuss that one. So, the same benefit cannot be achieved by some other reasonably feasible method that would not impose an undue financial burden because, and then he said, you know, he'd have to tear it down and be very expensive.
Because there's no place else to put it.
Right, won't fit anywhere else in
And
the
due
lot.
to the septic location and the size of the lot, the
Correct.
whole variance area, the area, I meant.
All right, discussions? Anything, Lori? How about you, Jim? Anything?
Move to vote.
So, yeah, I'm totally confused at this point.
How about you, Linda, you all right?
I'm fine.
All right, you good? You wanna discuss it?
We're voting now on 3.2B.
Correct.
Make a
All
motion, we approve.
No, we already have that.
Okay.
So, all in favor?
Yes, aye.
No,
Any opposed?
yep.
So we have 4-1. Did you vote?
Yeah, I'll vote for that one, because that one really is true, what he's
Mhm.
saying, he can't achieve anything else
It's true.
on that, it is true.
I make a
4 to
motion
1.
that we vote on number 4, granting the variance would do substantial justice.
Any second?
Second.
All right, discussion, the garage was constructed under an approved permit from the state of New Hampshire and town of Middleton. The permit was approved at 30 and was unintentionally built at 23. Since the permit allowed a variance to begin with, which that shouldn't be in there because it really didn't allow a variance, we respectfully request the added difference. I mean, you're really just requesting it to be at 23 feet.
Instead of
So the
30.
substantial justice, that's not really answering that question. The substantial justice is that he doesn't have to tear the building down, right? I mean, that's the justice that he's seeking, not what he wrote down there.
Well, I think you should,
Well, he had it in B, so it was just that he didn't want to repetitive, so, but yes, we understand. He did have it in B. the
What's your,
line.
I don't like that it says allowed a variance to
before,
begin with.
right? That's what I have a
I
problem
mean,
with.
because there wasn't, he was given a building permit
Right, there was no
that
variance,
said
because it didn't
30
come
Oh, I
to the,
see.
Didn't come to
that
the-
said 30 feet. I totally agree with that, but there wasn't a variance given.
There was a permit given, okay. Do you want him to put a line through that?
No, you can't change his.
Okay, that's fine, let's just,
He was given a permit that
A permit,
right, that's all.
was a mistake on the part of the person who issued the permit because of administrative failings on the part of the town. He has had to jump through numerous hoops to make us happy. The substantial justice would be that he's allowed to keep his garage. It's not hurting the town. It's not hurting abutters. No one has complained about it. It has brought forward some failings that the town needs to address in the permitting
right there.
and the inspection when we do issue permits. And I thank you for that, because now we can fix the mistakes that
Yes.
are ours.
hopefully.
And that's where I see the substantial justice. This is a win-win situation. No butter, nobody in his neighborhood is upset about it. It will make him happy, it will make me happy, because it's gonna correct it's gonna force us to correct ourselves so we don't run into issues like this in the future.
So what about the issue of not calling after
Hold
you
on.
get a permit? So
Uh,
let me get this to this point. So when we grant all this, we're saying that it's okay to not call after you get a
No, we're
permit.
addressing that in the
No, we're
future.
No, because
Right.
we're saying that it's okay, nobody called, his builder or him didn't call for a permit. When we approve this,
Where does it even ask us that?
I'm
that
just
people
telling you,
call?
overall, when all this gets approved, we as a board are granting the fact that nobody ever called for a permit. So anybody that gets a building permit and they hang it in their window and by mistake doesn't decide to call for any inspections,
That's,
So remember,
No,
That's-
because the building permits are gonna be rectified. The
Yes.
procedure is gonna be changed.
by the way,
It doesn't
that
say it
permit
here.
was done months before they even started building my garage. I was in Florida, and we weren't coming back till April. That's when it started getting built.
Well-
Just in time, because we just barely made that 6 months.
Right, and you know, that's why it's paramount that if you are doing something like that, and you're not, which most people don't personally oversee the construction of any project of size. I mean, you might build a doghouse or a chicken coop, but generally speaking, if you're gonna build a garage or a house, you hire a contractor, and you
Yep.
need to have complete faith that that contractor is gonna follow all of the rules and regulations of town, state, and everything, and obviously yours didn't, which is part of what led you here. Okay, I would like to make a motion that we,
well, we still have a motion
that
already
we,
first.
well, I just wanna make a motion on this, allowed a variance part be put into the written record that there was not a
You can amend her
variance
motion.
allowed
So
before
you can't make
this.
another motion.
Oh.
you can amend, we can vote to amend her motion, and if you want to amend that
Before
first.
we vote, I'd like to.
Yeah,
do that.
and we can just amend that motion, that be stricken from the permit. If,
You can't strike his permit.
No,
No,
I-
that-
You can say that you don't agree with what he said in the permit, but you cannot change his application.
that's what I'm
his
trying
So
to
if-
do.
so that's what I'm
So-
trying to explain to you guys. If you
You're not
approve this,
striking it.
you're saying that.
No, so we're just saying to her then, we're gonna make
No,
a
no,
note.
let me explain. If we approve that line right there, like Jimmy says, we're saying that the building inspector has the authority to grant a variance. You understand what I'm telling you, what Jimmy's getting at?
Right.
He's saying, in this statement, when we approve this, that the building inspector can approve a variance on a building permit.
Okay, so then how do we, Linda, can
Well,
you
let me
help us,
ask
how
you
do we
a
get rid of
You
allowed
could vote
variance?
against this, and he can come back in with another application. That's really the only way, like she said, you cannot change this application. It says,
Okay, the
allow
wording
a
is,
variance.
the wording is that you got a permit and, which was also allowed a variance. However, Linda, how can we change this to just,
We
You
can
can't-
acknowledge that we do not agree with
Okay.
that portion of his response
okay,
that says that his permit included a variance.
perfect.
Then you
And
cannot
that
vote
is
for
an
that,
Error.
that number
However, we can still vote on whether or not granting this variance can do substantial justice.
Whatever
Yes, I agree with that.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I just want it on the,
Vote now.
I just would like it on the permanent record so that if there's another person who does something like this,
All right.
and
I'd
they
like-
cite this when they go back to look at the minutes, that it's duly noted that there was not a variance allowed
Can I
by
make a
the
motion to
building
amend-
inspector.
Can I make a motion to amend the motion to vote on number 4?
So whatever's written here, when you vote on it.
Hold on,
just
she's
come
making a
to-
motion to amend
No, we
her.
have to, we're still in the discussion phase, so just so everybody's clear, whatever is voted on, if you vote for this, what's written here is what
But
is
she-
accepted. So go ahead and make your motion.
I'd like to amend the motion on voting on number 4, that granting the variance would do substantial justice. That the board does not agree with the statement that the building permit gave him an automatic variance. That part of his response is incorrect because the code enforcement officer or anybody who issues a building permit does not have the authority to grant the variance. That sits solely with the zoning board of adjustment. So our consideration of his response excludes that portion.
So
I
then
agree
you
because-
cannot- Then you cannot, you don't want to vote on this then,
But-
because it has something
I
written there?
just said,
We-
you evidently weren't listening.
We do wanna
what I
vote,
I'm
but
was
we're
listening,
not
but
saying.
eliminating.
I know what you're setting for a precedent, but that's
But-
okay. Do
but
what
we're
you
not-
want.
but- but we're voting on it.
Setting a precedent. You were waiting, you weren't listening to what I was saying, you were just waiting to respond. What I said was, the zoning board of adjustment disagrees with that portion of his response that the code enforcement officer or any person issuing a building permit does not have the authority to grant a variance when they issue it. That solely belongs to the zoning board of adjustment. Our vote on number 4 will exclude that portion of his answer because his answer is in error because he misunderstood and evidently the code enforcement officer.
But wait a minute, let me finish
was
too.
incorrect.
Okay,
Excuse me,
go
can
ahead,
I say
I'm gonna
something
say-
finally?
All right.
You're next. Go ahead.
Thank you. The problem here is he used the wrong word, not understanding the terminology. He used variance, okay? And nowhere, anywhere it says in that permit that he got a variance. So he misunderstood the word variance. So we just have to take that and accept that. He did not get a variance. That permit did not give him a variance. He just used the wrong terminology.
Can I
And that's
ask,
all it is.
can I ask a question?
Yep.
So is it illegal for him to change that word from variance to permit right now, if he chose to do so?
Can he change,
Good question.
can he change the application, Linda?
He is the only one who's authorized to change the application. We can't change it.
Right.
I don't see that there's any need. Do you feel offended by my saying that you made a mistake, that you
Absolutely
misunderstood?
not.
Thank you.
But maybe you could
So-
just put a line in his initial to make you happy.
So,
It makes me happy either way. I mean, I'm just saying that I don't like that you have a written document that says that
the permit.
that someone allowed a variance that had no authority to do so.
But
But
Jim,
you
you're
do-
gonna have the written document of our minutes and our approval
Right.
that
That's why I
states-
said, I'm
That's
okay with it either way.
And by the way, we did start with a variance and then went to an equitable variance, and now we're back to a variance again.
So.
You were never issued anything.
I know, but that's,
Yeah.
Right.
that's where we're going. We started with
Right.
variance, then we said we need an equitable variance, and now we now need a variance again.
Has anybody seconded my motion to,
I'll second your motion. I'll second that motion.
Yeah, she had already seconded it before, that's why we started the discussion.
okay.
So do we wanna have him, you said he can change the.
No, let's
He
just
doesn't
make
need
it,
to change it. If it's in our approval
I'm
and
okay.
in our minutes,
I'm just respectfully trying to keep you guys in the right direction for other
Is
things.
it illegal for him to change it if he wished to?
I don't know at this point, because we've already accepted his application. If he changes it, if he has to come back a second time.
I believe he can
time.
amend, the applicant
I'm
can
happy
amend the
with just
application, like we
right
did.
in front of us, I
Our-
think.
We amended ours, already, remember?
Yeah.
It's in the minutes.
I believe you
It's
can.
in the notes.
Now, do you want- How do you feel safer for him to write a line through in his initials?
I'm just trying to keep you guys in the right direction, that's all. But you already made a motion, and we'll vote on that motion. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
All
because,
opposed?
I'm gonna abstain.
I'm gonna abstain too. All right, so it passes, because you got 3.
number 5.
Right.
Last one.
5. I think that's the last one, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, yay. The use is not contrary to the spirit of the ordinance because it allows safer, is that probably safer?
Safe,
think-
unchanged travel.
Safe, yeah,
Safe, yeah.
unchanged travel from traffic, from all traffic. The use is not contrary. You have a motion on this? Do we
I
have
make
that?
a motion when we accept.
I'd like to discuss it.
Yep.
We
Unless
have
somebody
to
wanna
do a
second it,
motion
then we're
for
gonna, then once it's seconded, then we discuss it.
All right.
Somebody second it?
Second.
All right, now we can discuss it. Go ahead, Jim, you wanted to start?
I don't see how it's not contrary to the spirit of the ordinance. I'd like somebody to explain it to me.
The spirit of the ordinance deals with the character of the neighborhood,
It's a setback
That's
Setback
ordinance.
ordinance, right.
that it's not, the neighborhood is not overcrowded, the traffic, it doesn't increase or impede traffic. The spirit of the ordinance is written right smack in the front of the ordinance. It's the first thing that it says.
The setback ordinance?
No, the spirit of the ordinance, not the setback.
Well, the ordinance is the setback that he's asking for.
I don't know why I tried.
This-
No.
What's the,
Yeah,
You wanna
can you-
run it,
Can you
What-
read to
what-
us, Linda?
I'm just tired of trying to explain stuff and being shot down before I even
what
get a
is the
sentence out.
spirit
The
of
spirit of
the,
the ordinance is right on page 4 where it says purpose and authority. And that's where the spirit of the ordinance is.
okay, can you read it?
I was trying to, but
All
I
right.
was being talked over. The purpose of this ordinance further being to lessen congestion in the street, secure safety from fires, panic, and other dangers, to promote health and the general welfare, provide adequate light and air, prevent an overcrowding of land, to avoid undue concentration of population, to facilitate the adequate provision of transportation, solid waste facilities, water, sewage, school, parks, child daycare, and to assure the proper use and conservation and preservation of the natural resources and other public requirements. That's the spirit of the ordinance.
Okay,
So what he's saying is it allows for safe, unchanged travel for all traffic. And
So-
according to what the spirit of the ordinance is, he's not wrong.
right, no, I think he is wrong. I adamantly disagree. It's less than half the distance written in the ordinance. So,
That's not what the
I
spirit of
mean,
the
you
ordinance
can have an opinion that say nobody's ever gonna get killed because a kid ran out of that driveway. But, that's the reason that,
Any kid could
that-
run out of a front
They
come
can come
on
on
and
my
get.
Well, yeah, but when he's only gotta run 6 feet, in my
When there is
opinion,
no
it's a
garage.
lot
How
more
does he run 6
dangerous
feet?
than
He's got 20 feet to the road.
from the corner of the garage, well, or,
20
yeah,
feet to the
20
road.
feet, 20 feet.
Right.
So the kid's
Instead
gotta run
of,
20 feet.
instead of 50. If,
And it would actually,
yeah.
there, it would be
I-
50
I
plus
just-
4
I
feet
just
for
don't
the
think
road,
it
edge of
meets
road.
it, my opinion.
Right, 4 feet for the road.
Yeah,
So
for
it's
the edge of the road.
24 feet for the road.
Yeah, and but it would be 54 feet if you follow the setback rule
Correct.
that's in that thing,
Right.
so.
And still, you guys haven't decided what that's gonna be anyway.
it
You
would-
don't know if it's the edge of the road, is it the center of the road?
Oh, we know.
Is it the pins?
We know where it
Well,
is.
I've asked that question a number of
It's
times,
a-
have I not?
It's a 10-foot setback. It's a 10-foot setback. I said that at the last one. Pickham Road is generally a
10 feet from
10-foot
the pavement.
setback, except for where it narrows down at the end, and then
But
it's
I noticed all the
15.
pins were 6 feet
Yeah, I don't know.
on that whole road.
I haven't measured all the pins, so I couldn't, I just know what,
When we did the survey, that's
you know,
pretty much
what the, yeah.
how we come across it.
Well, if we're discussing this, based on what Linda read, I think that this does go along with this, because even like he said, he did his due diligence to make sure that all his neighbors across the street still had view of the lake. He didn't go high, he's not blocking out sunlight and different things like that, so I agree that.
I move to vote.
Any more discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Don't me.
I'm opposed to. So you still passed.
Three to two. 2 said no, 3 said yes. So it passed.
Yeah, you made it. You passed all your variances.
So you have your variance, you don't have to take
Set
your
a good
garage
precedent.
down.
Go to
Thank
Florida,
you.
don't think of us for.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Go to
for all your help.
Florida.
I really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I don't know if you
Thank
know,
you.
but
Thank you, Robin.
your neighbor, Omi, passed away on Sunday. I don't know if you know, but she did.
She did?
Yeah, she passed on Sunday.
I know.
I don't know,
Kate was telling
I
me.
Yeah.
can't tell
She's
people how to
been on
vote.
hospice and stuff for a while, but she did pass Sunday, so, yeah. But she
Nor would
had
I.
a great
No,
life.
me
She was good, you know,
Yeah,
loved her.
she was very nice.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a long fucking night.
Well, good luck.
Oh,
Enjoy your
thank you.
winter.
Awesome,
I
thank
am.
you.
Yep.
Leaving
Yes.
next week.
And thank you for,
See you next month.
and thank you for educating us.
No, I want to come back. Okay.
Thank you for educating for the future, because we want to make sure this doesn't happen
Well,
again.
thank you, everybody, appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
So we haven't heard from,
Oh, wait a minute, I did, because she did text me, but I kind of didn't want to be rude, and she did say, I said to her, you're coming, but she said, okay, I sent another letter to Kyle asking what the several reasons for denying the building permit. He didn't specify. I answered every question and made sure I completed everything in my application. I don't understand why they can just grant me a 15-foot variance so I can build my house.
so-
And then she wrote after, I said, we need to meet with you, and I said, it's imperative that we talk about the new steps and what you're gonna do. And she wrote, okay, I will plan on coming on 11/19. I really would like to ask them if they can reevaluate my application for the 15-foot variance so I can build my house, because I don't know why it's going on with Mark, but I haven't heard from him. Meaning the Mark McConkey, whatever, he's the state
all right,
registered
so
septic guy.
we're already up
Has-
against the deadline,
Yeah.
right? Is the
Hey.
problem. So she has to really reapply, you know, we have to say that if she's not here tonight, because we extended it again. I mean, can we, what was the date? I mean, she gets an automatic approval.
Well, she said, but this is her question to me, that this is what, when I saw her before, and she says, Carl denied me, and Carl said to me, I'll never, this is her words, I'll never get a building permit, it's been denied. So I said, well, get the reasons, that's all you need to do, and that's what I said.
No, she
But
has to
said
come in
she's
for the
not gonna-
variance.
But she's not getting any, remember, you
She's
asked
already
me
been
for-
denied by Carl, she's gotta come here.
But aren't we asking for a list of reasons
No,
from Carl?
no, she's supposed to come to the meeting.
Okay.
So, is she,
She said she'll come 11/19. We can ask her to, she did submit a new application based on her,
did she submit a new application?
She did not submit a new application.
oh no, she said, I sent another letter to Carl asking what the
Right, that's
several
all
reasons.
irrelevant to us,
Yeah.
because that's the
The
building.
first application was filed July 11th.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
So this
sure
is
that
the-
she will be lovely,
this meeting's the
fine
90th.
to do another one.
But all parties agreed, and she,
Yeah. Ask her her if she's, what is that?
She's okay with-
rule? No, what is the rule that we have to ask for, that, it's a rule, right? The 90-day rule? Where's that, on my thing, the attorney had that. Tim actually worked on that a little bit too, the 90 days.
Yeah.
And just want me to say, can she come into the office and agree?
Well, we have to ask her,
I'm pretty sure if all parties agree.
All we have to do is ask for an extension right now.
right, ask her if she wants to ask for an extension for a public hearing
Okay,
to the next meeting.
so you,
We just gotta do this before we get to you guys.
okay,
Get all this
with
clerical stuff out of the
an
way.
extension from the original, I'll say, so you were okay with an extension from the original 90 days, and we will meet next month?
Correct.
90 days, and we will continue, and I'll even write the word, public hearing, right?
It's a public hearing.
Public hearing next month,
And what's the date that we're meeting?
11/19.
The 19th?
Yep. Right.
All right, so we'll continue the public hearing for Daniel Dugay till November 19th, for anybody that's interested. All right, now, next on the agenda, we have Yvonne M. Arts Trust. And what's your name, sir?
My name's Chris Weisel.
You're representing the
Yvonne.
trust?
Yeah.
Yvonne.
Yvonne is a 94-year-old woman. She had a birthday and she's not
Nice.
I'm sorry,
up
I'm
to
probably your person. Well, I'm almost.
No, she doesn't, because she signed an authorization, allowing me to represent her, and her daughter Deb Corbin and her son-in-law Mark are here with me, who are immediate butters, and who, as I explained in my letter, and can elaborate and answer any questions.
And you want to just explain a little bit, and then we'll go over the...
Absolutely. So Mark and Deb, Yvonne is Deb's mom. I mean, I included the tax map in my application, and the small map 3 lot 37 is what Yvonne Marks owns. May I ask if you had a moment to look through my exhibits on lots?
I did, we had a small little cookie cutter lot, and the lot next door.
So the lot next door is owned by Deb and Mark, and it's undeveloped. They also own tax map 3 lot 43-1, which is this little lot on the water with the peninsula that's, has a trailer on it and a well. This undeveloped lot, they hope to someday develop a house on it more permanently, whatever. Yvonne, Deb's mother, hopes to replace the dilapidated, home structure with additions on it with the new structure that gave you pictures of and all that. And to do so appropriately, it should have its own well and septic system approved by DES, New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services, and your building inspector. And that can be designed on this lot 67. So in terms of a step process for this development, Yvonne is here today to try to get a variance so that you can basically replace an old structure with a new one, essentially in the same place.
But
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
But she's gonna encroach on the lot next door, right? And then,
What there will be is an easement,
okay,
property interest granted by Deb and Mark, owners of the lot 67, to have a well and septic on that lot. It hasn't yet been designed, because it's gonna cost a bunch of money. to
right,
design.
yeah.
And what they've designed would probably most likely be one well servicing 2 structures, a future home for Deb and Mark on lot 67, which they really haven't yet fully thought through and designed to do. Because you're gonna have to start shelling out money at Norway Plains and Ashley Grove Surveyor to do all that. So, but immediately, they'd like to, Yvonne, the mom, would like to replace the existing, structure with this new upgraded. And we welcome the grant.
I'm sorry, this is the first I'm seeing any of this, so but I apologize. On this map, with all the circled ones, these are all owned by family members, is that what you're telling me?
No,
So let's let him get through the whole presentation, and then we
Well,
can...
I need to,
We need to know.
I'll back
You
up.
do your presentation, then we can start asking questions. How's that?
That is fine.
That would be the way to do it.
And I was talking, assuming, that you had seen something, so let me back up and slow down a bit, that's fine. So Exhibit 2 is the best place to start. Let me pull it out. It is the Norway Plains sketch that shows lot 37. It shows the existing structure, and it shows as an overlay the new proposed structure, which is a simple rectangle. The existing structure is, you know, a bunch of different rectangles and squares bumped together. So the proposed structure has those slash lines all along all four sides.
Could you hold it up just while you're showing it? Okay, it might be better to.
And if I can approach. So, you know, this crazy, you know,
Right.
bump line, that's the existing structure. The proposed structure is this one rectangle with slash lines. The existing structure presently violates the zoning setback, but it is a pre-existing non-conforming structure. It was built before zoning. It is too close to the side property line to meet the 20-yard setback. It is too close to Eau Claire Road's surveyed best, you know, efforts of where the edge of right-of-way is. The actual paved portion of the road is shown on these dotted lines.
There is no paved portion of.
Well, I'm sorry, I've been up
Yeah,
there, it's out there, I mean, it's,
Yeah.
it's gravel.
Yep,
So, but I mean, the improved
So they
portion
could
of
put it out
gravel-
here, there's no paved part now.
it's a private road.
They could put it out here.
Well, you know, Ashley's,
You own halfway of that road technically.
yes, subject to the town and abutters having viatic easement to, use it for coming back and forth and all that.
That's what we were joking about.
Yeah, I know. So, you know, the proposed replacement structure, you know, with a 3-seasonal porch overlaying the front, basically overlays over the existing structure. It's, you know, bigger in this U-shaped portion that it's gonna be enlarged, more usable. But it will be side yard setback compliant. I'm
So it
here
will be 20 feet on the side,
more,
or more than that, yep.
21 on the easterly side, 21.5, yeah, it's about the same, 22, 23 in the front. So it'll meet the
Is that
side yard
shed like
setback.
out in your way?
But we're here
Should we saw
basically
that road?
requesting a variance to say, can we encroach on the front yard setback to basically put the new structure where the old structure is.
Okay.
Get that.
Which, and how much feet is that? So then instead of being,
It's folded out.
the new zoning is 50 feet.
Right. So the existing structure, you know, I had them put in all these measurements. To the corner on the easterly side, 16.5 feet. The new one would be 16.4, a little less, but I mean, that's essentially the same thing, right? On the other end, the existing structure is 11.2 feet to the right-of-way edge of property line. The new structure will be pushed back 12.2 feet. So assuming when they build this thing, the slab and everything, they put it exactly in place. But the variance request is to put the new structure and build a season porch without encroaching on the front yard setback any closer to the existing structure. And then, as I read your zoning ordinance,
Yeah, what was the size of the lot? Because I saw there was just a little, 100, okay.
it's 0.21 acres.
Yeah, so it's 100 feet by 100, like 100 foot frontage and then 100 feet back, right?
Oh boy, it's in 3 sections, so I gotta do some quick math.
Oh, okay.
It's closer to, the total frontage is 98.3 feet.
Okay.
And the sides are 100 by a little less than 100 on the other side. And the rear's is 101 feet.
And what's the aversion against using what you have generously plotted out for us, the building envelope for the zoning ordinance? Is that like all treed up and?
Yeah, and and the topography starts moving, it's fully dense and trees, so you'd have to raise all those.
So you're trying to keep to the footprint of the old building, but squaring it out.
Exactly. Plus, so, you're right, we'd encroach on the lot, not, by any structure, except underground. There'd be a septic easement and a septic design, a well, so that would be piped in and coming back, and we use that area to make the connections for the new house and whatnot. So I included pictures in my package of the neighborhood generally. I include pictures of the existing structure, the proposed structure. It's a manufactured housing. There'll be a slab built with plumbing, then a crane to come in to put the new one in place. I can't represent to you exactly what the easement will be dimensioned for the septic and well design.
Until they do the test, right?
Yeah, until they do the test bit, design it, figure it out to handle 2 structures. You know, but I was, I'm sorry.
No, I'm thinking though, okay, let's just look at the future.
Yep.
What if something happens, and they want to sell this? That's what I'm saying. So now you have 2 different lots, 2 different homes, but they're sharing the well and the septic, and this person's septic is on this person's land. So was it ever considered about just, I don't even know, but combining the lots to make it one?
No, so for future sale, an easement is a property right.
Okay.
So once that layout is designed, Ashley Rowe, in submitting that to the state, will also depict where the lines are. He can include meets and bounds descriptions of
That would be in the
where that
deed
would
then?
be.
Okay.
So then, Mark and Deb will grant via deed, an easement right to Yvonne to have that septic there.
I see.
Those guys still own the land, but they would, Yvonne would have a property right to have the well and the easement on it. That would have to be conveyed by an easement deed grant recorded to the registry. And then if Yvonne's trust ever sells the property to you, you would receive a description of the lot together with the described easement, the rights that I would elaborate in the document,
Okay,
to
yeah.
explain all that.
Okay, yep.
So,
Okay.
but, you know, but it's just, you know, to go through all that design, do that stuff, and come here, if you say no to this, you say, why do we spend all that money? So it's a first step,
I see.
second step,
Okay.
you know,
To
proceeding
see
along
the
that way.
options.
Yeah.
Okay, yep, thank you.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so, you know, it's my personal desire to keep the structure where it is. In my variance criteria arguments, I suggest that you read spirit and intent of the ordinance. In my argument, I reached also and read into your code your definition of setback. It says that for purposes of administering and interpreting that definition, a setback is to promote public health, welfare, safety, and provide a buffer between contiguous properties, providing for open space, access between buildings, and other obstructions to promote fire safety, and promoting aesthetics and property values. The aesthetics of the neighborhood won't change. It will be enhanced by a new structure. There's plenty of room there. The 2 simple lots across the street, one of the reasons I included, you know, the tax map. So those are all the butters. You know, the applicant's lot is highlighted in yellow. Nothing can really be built across the street because of those lot size and how close they are to Sunrise Lake. You know, so in terms of buffering between structures, this structure being relocated basically where it is and closer to the road, it's nothing on the other side of the road. So buildings, there's not a congestion of buildings across the street. The side yard setback essentially the same. The abutter immediately to the west, I included a picture of that. They're undergoing a significant renovation to enlarge it by going up. You know, again, no one's here, no one's objecting.
Hopefully they got a permit.
I don't
worry about it.
They haven't been in for
So
any
my
variances that I know
suggestion
of.
is,
Yeah.
you know, and I include language in bold on my page 4 of my letter, you know, up here, that you could grant the 2 variance requests on a condition that Devin Mark, in fact, grant an easement for a septic design. When it is designed approved by NHDE as an building inspector. So that sort of leaves to the future the specifics of all that. But in doing that, you would also replace an existing structure that has no well, it draws water from a well across the street, has no sewage disposal, has an outlet, you know, a chemical toilet that gets, you know, replaced by a service provider and all that. And instead, it'll be upgraded with these things, and I think that promotes substantial.
Up to code with everything, right?
Yeah, right. So,
I'm trying to visualize this, you know, it's not your fault. I'm a
No, I'll be
kayaker,
happy.
and I kayak, I live down the other end of the lake, I kayak down here all the time. So these, are there houses on some of these must have houses?
so I refer to Mark and Deb. Along,
On the lake side of it, some of those lots must have houses on them.
some
Up the
further
road,
side.
there are a couple of homes, and down the road, there are,
But directly across is raw land, you said, small lots.
it's
Yeah.
a small lot, and they have a
Now,
small
is
trailer.
this past where the water lilies are? Is it in that area, in the lake where there's the big island that?
The peninsula that sticks out is my property.
The one that has the dock that sticks out? No, the one, There's a log house that's opposite
Yeah.
the larger island where there's the.
Oh, that's down the road.
That's
a little
further
more.
down, so you're
Thoroughly
further down,
confused.
further up.
Would a tax map help at all?
No, I need pictures of the lake, I gotta get out on my kayak, that's all. Because I see Flutes Island, I know I can go around that, but I know I
Yeah,
can.
then there's a swamp that you
Yeah.
pass, and then there's a lot, and there's the next lot would be.
Because I know like there are some houses along here, but
Yes,
these
there
little
are.
100 by 80s, they don't have houses on them.
Some of them do.
Some of them do.
So I included, I tried to do a presentation, of that.
Right.
But, so I included Exhibit A, 3 pictures. That, when I visited the property down in Mark, when I'm down the road. Frankly, there's not a lot of
No, I.
houses that jump out real close. But on this Exhibit A1 of 3, you get the other copy too? And my best recollection is this one I wrote through. I remember taking this with the road.
Looks different from the water.
So this one, I'm heading back towards 153. So this one is on the lake, but that one was on this tax map.
This property is not on the water.
No,
Right.
I'm just, because I know like you're saying, well, you've got a well on the other side, right?
Owned by another relative
Yeah.
that just allows that use.
I know, I
permissively.
had
There's no
that when I
reason.
first moved up here, I had my name, I was using my name.
Which makes sense to have your own well, right?
Right.
I'm just trying to
Right.
place it in my mind, I'll have to go out on a kayak when it gets warm this weekend.
My recollection was this picture, 2 of 3 at Exhibit 8 with the house and a stockade fence in front of it is on the lake side of the road, but it was further down
Yeah.
this way. And I don't measure it.
It's about 4 houses from the very end. Yeah, it's down there. And it's a dead end, so.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm just a little confused.
All right, before we do that, he's gotta just go through his whole application,
All right.
not even supposed to be talking about it.
All
Go
right,
through the
just-
things that you're asking and the criteria, and then we can have, like we did in the last one, we can ask you questions on each criteria and move through it. You gotta stick to the same thing that you try and put everybody through. So go ahead, start right from the beginning on your
The
application.
general discussion of all those facts, in my opinion, germane to all those separate criteria, because it's all, big bundle.
Yep.
If I can make a couple of prefatory remarks too.
Yep.
Before I proceed through my thing. I'm just listening to you guys debate the last application. And, there was a difference of opinion, the chair saying, concerned that if you grant some variance relief, you're creating a precedent. Members on the ends are both saying, no, that's an exception. And you heard from an attorney. I'm an attorney. My opinion is you don't create absolute precedent by giving a variance for one sort or the other. People like me were willing to dig into your records and try to find something, but they're not correlated or organized in any easy way to find. But if I find something like that, sure, I'd argue and say, you granted this once before, you should grant it for my
I don't know the history of what's going on in this town, so just
Yeah.
move on to your thing.
No,
Trust me.
you should- oh, thank you. Okay.
But he's saying it doesn't set a
It
precedent.
does not create.
No, he
a
doesn't
precedent.
set it, but if the attorney digs into it, it's used in court, is what I was trying to get at.
Right.
It's not using the driving, just using, it's an argument.
No, no,
Like
absolutely.
my pictures, like
Absolutely.
the facts I'm saying.
Let's
The
move on to
Supreme
your
Court-
thing.
The Supreme Court has said, the granting of a variance is a safety valve to say, for particular facts, for particular case, each one being unique coming before the board, if it merits a variance, grant it. So,
Yeah.
and, I think a variance should be granted for all those reasons. The other prefatory remark I want to make is I've addressed your criteria in a different order than your application.
So is this our application, the new one?
No, that's the old one, and that's one of the problems, is it's outdated.
Yeah, your application, like you just did with the other variance case,
Where did you get this application?
online, rented it, how is it? But it's the same one.
So that should be taken down. You shouldn't have that on there anymore.
I'm trying to.
Tim, can you get that taken off tomorrow, please? Thank you.
But the
I've been trying to
criteria,
update it for months.
Tim's gonna do that tomorrow and get it off there.
She's been busy with some other stuff. You probably know what
Not
it
your
is.
fault.
the criteria you addressed and the order you addressed is the same application that I did. And the point I'm making is that that's not the same order.
Of your typed out letter.
Yeah, but my typed letter follows the same order of the state statute.
Oh.
And at page,
Well, that's fine, but we're gonna go by our application, that's what we always go by.
and I'm not, I will be happy to address that point. My letter formally does not address your criteria 3.2 A and B which is your use variance criteria, I will address it verbally. I did not address it in my letter because, as I wrote on page 4 of my letter, my understanding of the law, as I watched it develop over 40 years.
Don't worry
is
about
that-
the law.
Pardon me?
Let's just move on.
Well, the distinction
It's
between
Middleton.
area and use variances was eliminated by the legislature in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll address that criteria, but your variance for a use should be just 3.1 A, B, and C, no matter what it is.
Okay, so
And
that's
that's
good
what
to
my
know.
letter addresses.
3.1 instead of the V, because I do remember seeing that in a webinar about the use.
Right, and it was, so I have a copy of the statute too, but I mean, I saw, why do I do this letter? Because, you know,
Yeah.
do what you guys do, I have to go someplace else.
No, keep
whatever.
going.
I'm trying to make my own record as well. So, I mean, granting the variance is not contrary to the public interest. And, you know, case law that's been decided by our Supreme Court is trying to give, you know, people like me, zoning boards like you, how to interpret this. Your handbook developed by the state addresses the criteria, and it says, you know, does granting the variance, would it, to an unduly marked degree, conflict with the basic premises of the zoning ordinance and alter the essential character of the locality or threaten the public health, safety, and welfare? And, you know, by the overlay zoning sketch by Norway Plains, not altering the essential character of the neighborhood at all. We're just taking an old thing out, putting the other one in the same place. We're not threatening the public health, welfare, and safety because we're suggesting to grant this on the condition that, you know, Deb and Mark grant an easement to support wellness septic. I mean, if they didn't get the easement, the variance would be void. And you don't have to get into the weeds of the specific of that easement grant because the Department of Environmental Services will have to, your health.
Well,
code inspector.
wouldn't we also not get any weeds if we just said, when you get all your ducks in a row, you can come back and we'll rule on your variance then?
No. Because you would force the applicant to spend an inordinate amount of money. So, you know, go down the path. That's what I was trying to say before. This is the first step. If you want us to design all that, get a Department of Health and DES, Department of Environmental Services, approval for the septic system. Have your building inspector say, yeah, this is building. Now come back to here and ask for a variance. You say no, you just flushed all that money down the toilet.
No, you just have to build a house that conforms into our setbacks. You may not be able to put as big a house on there, but that's probably, you know, why it's because it's such a small lot.
And, I mean, you can replace an existing structure with the same exact size. I mean, that's allowable.
Not without a variance because it's a new structure.
No, you can go in the same footprint. There's much case law on that.
The same footprint is essentially a mobile home with wooden additions.
Right, no, I'm not trying to
It's
teach you the law.
impractical. It's not, they just won't do it, they'll just keep the existing structure. I
Right.
mean, that's just telling people, don't make an improvement to your property. Don't put a septic in it, just have an porta toilet. Keep sucking water from the neighbor across the street. That's impractical. And if you look at the area that is shaded in yellow on my smaller exhibit of this sketch, or if you can see the dashed lines, and this is, if we're gonna comply sort of with the town's, you know, fully zoning, this is the building envelope, it's dotted in red and stuff like that. So I can't even take this manufactured housing, it's too big, it's gonna go beyond that. So if I find a smaller one, they don't exist. So build the smaller one, stick
And what is the
that.
size of the manufactured
Couldn't
home?
you just get a permit?
28 by
I've not
60 or
ever
something
seen that
probably?
one right down
The
here.
size of the
That
structure,
little one, that little couple lives.
they
in.
want to replace.
Beautiful little.
Can you just get the
I
permit
can't
for
answer.
here and then just?
Okay, I was just thinking of probably 28 by 60 or something.
I'll tell you. what
Usually,
this is.
yeah.
Yeah, 28 by 56.
Okay, good, 28 by 56, yeah.
28 by 56.
It's a manufactured, yeah, double wide home. Yep, modular, I mean, not modular, but manufactured. HUD approved, HUD certified. I don't know where you're getting it, but yeah, 28
So
by
this is your building envelope back here. Do they have the dimensions on that? That's what's actually you could fit in this lot?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's not even squares or rectangle, it's there. And you're right, sir, I mean, if the ZBA could say, no, variance denied, build in that envelope.
And then he's gonna take that case that we just had, that he sat through,
And say,
he's
right,
gonna come
say,
back.
"You're kidding me. You just allowed a structure to be built in line variance."
No, but I like what I'm just curious,
Good
because
luck,
you're,
because I don't think the building inspector's gonna give you a building permit again like you did that guy, but
I like what he said though about keeping the same footprint, so maybe elaborate, like, so the sign, is your home that's there now 28 by 56 or no? Oh,
It's
Oh, okay.
longer, but instead of being a double wide, this is a single wide that's on the
Oh,
property.
okay, okay.
And we have a room built off the back that's
Mm-hmm.
like half the size of the house, and it's wood.
Okay,
So
yeah.
the double wide is just a little more rectangle.
Yes.
This is.
So it wouldn't be the same exact
small
footprint, okay,
rectangle
okay.
with a big square
Yeah.
out the back.
Mhm.
Or if you look on this one,
Yep,
you can see in the very great, they show the outline of the existing home.
yes,
And it's like it must have started as a little home, and then you added on a piece,
Mhm,
and you
mhm.
added
Yes,
on a
I
piece,
see, yep.
and you added on a piece. So if they were gonna build a house on the exact footprint, it would look like that.
Okay,
You know,
we can't do that,
You're not gonna get a
okay.
house like
No,
that.
you
Now,
can't.
like my neighbor, I just found out, they're gonna knock down their house and replace it with a new house. They're going on the exact same footprint, because it's just a neat rectangle. This is not a neat rectangle.
No, okay,
So they're
okay.
proposing to put in a nice, neat rectangle. And then as I had asked before, why don't you want to use this, the building area that would conform to our ordinances? It's because it's not level, it's overgrown, it's green, you want to keep it green. So they're going to try and
It's on a hill.
maintain as much of the existing footprint as they can between the new house and the deck.
okay, yep.
But we're
They're
gonna enlarge
squaring
it.
it out.
We're gonna enlarge it. And the existing building envelope would not fit a double wide mobile home. And no one would build a replica of the existing footprint, because it wouldn't be worthwhile. It would just be cost preclusive. The manufactured housing is built offsite, and the manufactured, so it's gonna come around a crane, be pumped down, and it's going to comply with zoning, it's gonna be good
Yes.
compared to what there is now.
Mhm.
The existing property started as a thin, small mobile home, and it's got a life, all those things, it just, at some point it's gonna just wear out, so.
All right, go through your whole thing
Okay.
for us.
So following the ordinance, the statutory numbering, your granting this variance would be contrary to public interest, because the essential character of this neighborhood is not changing. You go up the street, when you get to this lot, there is a house that close to the road now with a screening porch, it's gonna be there now. The enlargement to the sides and the rear is not gonna be visible from the front, and it's not gonna be noticeable to neighbors. The immediate neighbor, if you're looking at the house to the right, it's practically doubling the size of that house by putting an addition on the entire second floor. And that's somewhat altering the character of the neighborhood, perhaps more, but it's fully compliant, I presume, with zoning, because, that we asked. So, it's not contrary to public interest. Plus, it's not the applicant's burden to show that it's in the public interest, just not contrary. That said, I would submit to you that this replacement, upgrading the structure, making an improvement, hooking it up to a valid well and septic system, promotes the public interest. It's not their burden to have to meet, but I think this board could factually find that and use it as support for meeting its criteria. The criteria of the spirit of the ordinance is absorbed by granting it. Our Supreme Court said that should be read sort of in tandem, with the public interest concept. Courts have said that, it's the same facts that you can apply to that can apply to the spirit of the ordinance. You read the spirit of the ordinance earlier. I think it fits with that. And I started to read previously that your setback definition specifically addresses the spirit of the ordinance, saying that setbacks are there to provide buffering between contiguous properties, hence the point I made about the properties across the street aren't going to be built upon, so they're not going to be crowding close together with the street between them. That's the spirit of the ordinance is met. Granted, the variance will do substantial justice. Here, our Supreme Court has given us lawyers and boards a lot of guidance on that. The state handbook addresses that. It suggests that you imagine the scale and then weigh on one side the benefit to the public if you deny the variance, and on the other side, the harm to the applicant if you deny the variance. In this case, I can't articulate, frankly, a benefit to the town by denying the variance other than say, we're going to strictly adhere to every setback variance. We do it in every case, and we're going to do it for you, but you don't. You gave substantial relief in the prior case. And I'm not saying that in terms of you're creating a
Well,
precedent.
and that's why we have
I think in this
applications.
case, the harm to the applicant takes that scale and boom, drops it down, that they will be harmed because they will be, if you say no variance, then they're just going to have to keep this old structure that's useful life is dated. It's time for its replacement. You're going to deny them the opportunity to just replace
Or
it
put
with
in
manufactured
small.
housing and put it in. And you know, to deny it, the harm, the benefit to the public is you just adhering to some setback that's written generally for a zone without, you know, examination. You got different lot sizes. This lot's tiny.
Yeah, I saw the size, yeah, based on the map.
So the fourth criteria, values of surrounding properties won't be diminished by granting it. I can't articulate how that harm might occur if you allow this improvement. Certainly their property will be benefited. The upgrade by putting a nice new home that's serviced by well septic, I think neighbors would think, oh, that's good, you know, and hope their own property values, neighbors. Enforcement of the setback requirement would cause an unnecessary hardship. Why? Because special conditions distinguish this property from others in the zone, the size and its location. You know, I mean, and the simplex test, which the statute said it should be the test that you apply for, is there a variance? I submit there's no fair and substantial relationship existing to the general purpose of that 50-foot setback and its application here. And because of the lot size, because there's an existing structure, because the factual proposal is essentially to replace it, it enlarges in the back and size, but that doesn't affect the character of the neighborhood as you drive through or how the neighbors use their property. The enlargement to the sides and rear is going to be surrounded by woods. So a strict application of this 50-foot setback here to this property, you know, doesn't have a fair and substantial relationship to the public purpose of the setback, which, as I read earlier from the definition, it's for buffering, space between houses, public safety and welfare, and that. Your application, which in my opinion is outdated, says that area.
Sir,
Yes.
I would appreciate it if you didn't laugh at our
I mean-
application anymore. That's the second time, so I just appreciate it.
My
All right,
apologies. And
thank you.
And I'm happy to still address that to the extent you folks, you know, deal with it that way. So the special condition remains the same. It's still a small lot compared to others in the property. The same benefit can't be achieved by another reasonably feasible method that would not impose an undue financial burden because by demonstrating where the existing building envelope would be if you were fully compliant with the front and side yard setbacks from the property line. You can't squeeze that property, the new mobile home double wide, into that property. You would have to level all these trees. You would have to do topography alteration to submit that, all of which would be an undue financial burden to the applicant just to comply, especially when the existing structure basically is where it is. We just want to take that out, put a new one in. So my request on behalf of the Armed Arts is for you to find all those criteria are met, grant the variance, and I would suggest as a template, if you wish, on this page 4, I have a language where you could grant the variance to the 2 sections cited. On the condition that an easement be granted to tie in a new well and septic. right?
You're on page 4 of your letter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's verbose because I explained specifically the various sections. I didn't,
I mean, before we keep going, do we have to have it on our application? I mean, don't we need it?
I feel like we do, but
Do we need, I mean, we
I-
haven't,
I mean, it's the one that he got online, though.
no, he got it in his own at the state. Have we approved any new ones, or do we still only have this one that we can work from?
if I'm
Currently, the new ones are being reviewed by the select board, and on the 19th meeting, we should have new ones.
Mr. Chairman, if I would be, I would
I know, I'm
suggest,
just,
you just vote on both. I feel if that's your application, I think I addressed it, I think you can say that.
well, it's not on our application is the problem. So there's multi-million-dollar lawsuits against the town right now, so you understand the scope of what's going on. And they had to conform to this application. Didn't get to come in with a different application, it's all about this one. So it's up to you guys, if you wanna let him come in and work on this application, it's up to you.
Oh,
Or you can ask him if he wants to come back.
But I thought he printed this from our website.
Is this on our website?
Yeah, he printed this from our website, this
No.
application.
No, this one is still on our website, right? The old one?
Yeah, the old.
No, he didn't get this from our website.
And my application addresses all the criteria,
I'm just,
both under.
it's all irrelevant to us at this moment, right? So another applicant came in, had to follow this one, right? Could have probably done better with this one, right? This is a lot more easier to go by and very more explanative. Had to go by this one. So if you guys want to use this one, we gotta determine that first, if we can move forward.
He has addressed every issue that is on our application in a letter form.
Right.
I think by coercing an applicant to have to conform to absolutely the form of our application, even though they're already addressing all of it in prose, is excessive.
So
I have no
do you want to
problem-
make a motion that he's allowed to use this application, although
I'd
other
like to
applicants?
make a motion that the application as presented along with the attorney's letter is adequate for us to review.
Anybody want to second
I'd
that?
like to
well,
second that.
hold on.
No, then we can have a discussion. All right, now let's
All
have a
right.
discussion. It's been seconded by Lori. All right, so the main discussion, first off, is, like I said, other applicants had to go by this one, and he's got this one. Plain and simple, but if you
But
guys,
it's the
whatever you
same
guys want to do.
criteria.
I've never even seen one of these before.
Mr. Chairman,
Now, hold on 1 second. So we got to get through this issue first.
well, I don't know what you're referring to, this one and this one.
Well, you
There's a
have-
new application.
The Gagnon's application, I don't have a blank one. Do you have one of the blank ones?
No.
Because I mean,
And that's what I'm saying, but it's set up with the same exact questions.
It's not. though.
This,
It's not exactly. the
what
same.
is, what is the
Still
difference?
addressing the five criteria.
It's all the same questions.
It's there.
And by
I
incorporating
just
by,
compared them while I was him reading. I got the Gagnons in front of me and his.
I'm okay, if you guys want to, just vote on it, saying that we're gonna use it, so we have a discussion on it. You had
Do you wanna
something to say,
compare
Jim?
them?
No.
Do you want to compare them? No, but I've been looking at all of them.
I'm okay.
may I just see the other application different than the one?
Yeah, this was public knowledge anyhow, so that was just,
Yeah,
you can take a
because-
look at it. All right, so, any other discussion on that? We'll have a vote that we're gonna accept his application. Anything you wanna use? All right, we'll take a vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Any-
Abstain.
I abstain also. All right, so we're gonna use your application, see, that was easy to get through.
Three.
Jimmy and I abstained, and the other three voted it in, so it passed, so we can move on.
This is the same criteria as in the application, it's just in a different font and just typed in a different.
I know, that's what I was saying.
manner.
Everything, I matched it as I was reading.
1 is the same as 1, 2 is the same as 2, 3.1 ABC, 3.2 AB are the same, 4 and 5, they're the same, it's just, this is the same criteria. And what I'm saying is that I tried to address all criteria by my letter.
No,
And I'm-
I've just not seen that.
You have to open up the letter. This is his letter.
Yeah, I read his letter.
Okay.
And
Cool, we got through that, so move on. I'm
lastly,
good.
I think that the letter addresses both the 3.1 and the 3.2 criteria, as I embellished verbally.
I'm just gonna get a drink.
Keep going, you're doing good.
I think I'm done,
Okay.
but
All right.
I'm happy to answer any questions if someone.
We'll get to that as we go through each of these.
Well, he did go through them all.
No, we need to do it like we did the last one. All right, so variance requested from Article 5, Section B3, zoning ordinance to permit replacement dwelling encroaching within front setback. It's the attorney letter, which he's gone through everything. You want to take a motion on that, number 1?
Okay, so this is I want to just look at this is Article 5, Section B3. I just want to be in the right spot.
Yep, and it's
Okay.
the
so
facts
then
that supporting this request, the proposed use would not diminish surrounding property values because, and he's got the letter. Which is number 1 right here, this corresponds with it.
But the only thing and I apologize because I'm new, I'm learning, I'm still being educated. I didn't see like that you wanted the variance for like 11 feet. It was back 11 feet or 12 feet, but it says it's 20 feet, right? But what I'm saying is the home was going to be 12 feet from the road.
So the request is the variance be granted for replacement structure to be
Okay.
located no closer than the existing as shown
Okay.
on this survey.
Okay.
What I didn't write, what I recommend is that hopefully in a order that you make approving
I can't
variance,
see that.
you can
Any of that?
refer to this exhibit 2 and say, you grant a variance for this.
Based on what it is.
Substantial.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So instead of trying to say the exact feet and whatever, and then additionally, I
So we don't even know how close you wanna be to the line?
yes, I'm incorporating this map.
Yeah, that's what I
This
said.
survey sketch, I want it to be in this distance, and the surveyor shows exactly, so if
So
you
it's
grant
11
a
feet.
It
variance.
was 12 feet on one and 11 feet on the other
11
based on the
feet.
map.
11 feet from the road.
Yeah.
But all
No,
the
no,
other
11.
homes in the
How
character
far
of the
is it
neighborhood are in the
now?
same situation.
No,
Some
I
are
would
set back
not say
further.
that.
Oh,
So they're not all like that.
Oh.
Some
You
some are
can't
set back
assume.
further.
no, I was
Any-
asking if you
We've
could.
not measured, nor had the survey met.
Okay.
We measure other properties
Not
to
11
this.
feet from the road.
That's what it
They're
says.
looking at the porch.
The main structure will be
Porch is
30
11.
and 22 feet. And
Okay.
then the porch,
Oh,
How
good.
far is it now?
now, the existing structure is 11.2 feet close to the road on one corner and 10.5 feet.
Oh, it's 10.5, yeah.
And
That's the deck or the actual house itself?
Uh-huh.
Excuse me, you saying 11, didn't hear what you said.
The porch is going to take over part of the existing home
Exactly.
setback.
So then the home is gonna be back
The
like 14
initial
feet.
home setback is 11 feet.
But I think porch is part of the structure, it's just the stairs that aren't.
The porch, which is going over where the existing house is 12 feet and 16 feet. So that setback hasn't changed. It's just not gonna be a house, it's gonna be a
A
porch.
porch, so then the house is further
The
back.
house itself is 22 feet and 30 feet.
Okay.
Now, you're
okay.
representing that
Nice, okay,
the
good.
porch
It's
is
the
not
porch.
part of the structure? I
No,
mean,
it will, it absolutely is.
Yeah, because it's only
It's
stairs that
three
aren't.
seasons,
Right.
correct. No.
I just, it was confused about what you were
There's a
saying.
porch on the house now, and the new porch would be exactly where that starts.
That makes
And then
sense.
back a little further.
I thought somebody said that
Actually,
the porch wasn't part of the structure.
It's a little
So
bit
where does
further
the
away from road,
encroachment
but
start?
Will they place it exactly there?
Yeah.
Not on the sides.
It's everywhere, because this is the can do it.
It's not on the side, it's not everywhere. The encroachments, because he's got both setbacks on both sides, 20.
Side setbacks are fine.
Yeah, the side setbacks are fine.
Well, no, because it's all outside of the front setback, so it's all encroached. The whole structure, except for this little triangle here, is encroaching on what the existing,
No, he's got it's 22 feet on one side and
it doesn't matter until you get back to that 50 feet, it's all not there.
So one of the suggestions I made in this bold print was for you to grant both requested variances
This is where it came out.
to allow a single-story replacement residential structure to be located as depicted on this exhibit 2.
That way you didn't have to name everything.
Right.
Because there was a
Okay.
lot of stuff.
And,
Oh, I like this one.
no, encroaching no further into the front yard setback than the applicant's current dwelling. And I suggested the language that way, so we don't get hung up with, it being 16.4 instead of 5, and then it being non-compliant coming a case like was
Right,
here
like you
before.
said.
Because certainly they can do the pad, put the manufacturer in its place, and then measure, the surveyor will be able to give them those points exactly.
I think one thing that gets a little confusing in the picture is that where it says Eau Claire Road is the road. And then on the side of it, I guess legally, the town can have 50 feet, but this is a private road, and that road is not that big.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, it's a small dirt road.
Little dotted line shows the depiction of the gravel way. And as the chair said earlier, I mean.
Well, was this road actually laid out on paper, and is the property deeded with that as the front property line?
The property is deeded with, let me dig into
This, what you see here is the actual dirt road.
Right, but this is your deeded property from this point to that point.
Right, is back here, but this is all
Right.
grass or,
And
and on both sides, there was, people just kind of
yeah,
over the road.
and in the
They didn't
last,
own it,
in the
but yeah.
last one, they went from the road, and
Right,
um,
so yeah, I guess
one of the
road
board members
could be-
said that it goes from the road instead of the right of way.
Oh, so that's called right of way and that's road?
Yeah.
Oh, I see, okay.
Yep.
So
Well,
if-
we don't, it's a private road, so I don't think we have a right of way.
No, see, private roads have public right of
I
way,
have no idea.
passage right of ways on them.
The surveyor's notes on this plan, I'm gonna take a look to address this. He said that one of the reference plans from a prior survey held a width of Eau Claire Road, not as it's actually gravelly improved, but a width as 33 feet being 2 rods, 16.5.
Yeah, right, yep.
But then the reference plan number 1 showed a 50-foot width for private right-of-way.
And is
So
that
I don't know if
recorded?
it's legally
Is that
determined.
recorded
Well,
at the
maybe,
registry?
maybe because that would be 10 feet each side to
Yeah.
the right of way.
Right.
So it
What's-
kind of makes sense, but
Is that recorded?
I've been on Eau Claire Road, but not for a long, long time. It doesn't seem that there's a spot on that road that's even 30 feet wide to me, but, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But again, and I work for the highway department, private roads, we generally don't, I have no idea what the right of way is because we don't have any authority on it to tell you guys where to put your mailbox or, anything like that. So, I'm just not sure. Like I said, when I was commenting earlier on Pinkham Road, I know what the setbacks are because we have to review that stuff from time to time, but this one, I don't know.
Mr. Chairman, you're asking is that recorded at the registry? What these plan notes are saying, there's different plans recorded at the
Oh,
registry.
okay.
They show
I
different
understand.
widths.
Yep.
Right.
And like you're saying, sort of, you're not exactly sure what it is. That, you said earlier, and I agree with you, that
Well, the latest one supersedes usually, right?
No, no, it's different opinions, different, how people found different things. I wouldn't necessarily agree with that.
No, but is an overall plan, like a subdivision plan that's been recorded?
This has no overall subdivision plan. These are just some people, these notes say someone did a survey here, someone did a survey there, and I haven't reconciled.
Yeah,
that.
no, I agree with you.
But I do agree with you that under New Hampshire laws, if it is a private road, the abutting property owners own to the midline of that
Right.
road, subject to, other people who have.
Unlike a
easement.
class 6 road, which
Right,
is the
town
same as a class 5, it has an actual right of way. You only own up to a certain point, which may be the very edge of the road because roads back then weren't, put in perfectly. You might even find out that the whole road's on
Yeah.
your property.
Right.
Actually, I did on a piece that we own. But yes, I know that there are some private roads in town where there's been disputes where they both own it right up to the middle of the road, if you will. I don't know if Eau Claire is like that or not. You'd have to look at your deed, but
I can't answer that right now either. But I mean.
Well, that may alleviate some of your problems,
Well,
if that were the case.
it would be, to determine the actual width of the road, in prior experiences, I mean, you may have to research like everyone's deeds and stuff, and that becomes, yeah, very expensive.
Well,
It's
you only
probably
have to
an
research yours.
Yeah, yours and the ones
But
across the street.
So for purposes of this variance, I don't think that's necessary, which is another reason why I think granting it to build a residence depicted here with a setback, front setback encroachment, no closer to the road than currently exists, solves all those things, says I don't have to determine the absolute legal,
Well,
you know.
I understand what you're trying to say, but what it doesn't resolve is the fact that you said earlier that you thought this piece of property was unique because of its small confines. Well, I'd submit that it's not, because we have several of them in town, and especially over on the lake. Therefore, it's very concerning to me, and should be to everybody, that, you know, you to give a variance on it, because in my mind, when these lots were sold, they were sold with the idea of people gonna build a small camp on them, and back then, probably with an outhouse or, you know, something
what
of
they
that
have.
nature, which I understand currently with the DES and everything, that how, you know, the problems of that it causes, especially near the water, but, yeah, that's the thing. If, we grant a variance to let you put a bigger house than what's on there, then we're gonna, well, what are we gonna say to the next person that comes in that just has 100 by 100 lot, which really, in essence, isn't buildable by a lot of standards. And, you know, I agree, and, you know, it's great if you guys can come to an equitable agreement. You're all families, so you could get easements and things of that nature, but that's just not always the case, you know. Yeah, I don't know, I don't, and, you know, as far as a smaller home, would it surprise you if I told you I could take you for a walk right from here and show you a manufactured home that would fit on that lot? And, you know, because there is one right down here that I know the couple lives in, and,
But we're not looking for a variance on the sides, that's, the length of it is fine. I mean,
no, I understand, you have all these little additions that were put on there, and it makes it very difficult, and I appreciate that, but, I'm just saying, we're kind of in a sandbox ourselves, you know, because, yeah, every time you grant one, I mean, you said it yourself, yeah, maybe not absolute precedence, but a guy like you is gonna dig through everything and say, well, you gave it to well, trust me, it ain't our first rodeo, okay?
I understand, but
And,
someone's
you
gonna
know,
pay you to do that. And if I may respond to.
well, and I'll be honest with you, since COVID, we've seen an influx of it. You know, these people come in, they want to, because land is so expensive, it's shot right through the roof, no fault of yours, but that's just the way it is now. They want to buy these little postage stamp lots and cram these big houses on there, and, you know, it's just it's an ongoing battle. That's how I feel about it.
So may I reply to
Yeah.
briefly? I didn't at all intend to suggest that this lot, 100 by 100 or smaller, is unique throughout the town. It's not. I mean, you're right, there are other ones like that, but in the immediate neighborhood on the away from lakeside of the road, you know, it's small. And what do you say to the next guy who comes in with 100 by 100, saying, we want to put a double wide structure, manufactured housing on like this, we want to do all that, and he says, what is your water supply? How's your septic gonna be?
Exactly.
Differentiating.
Well,
thing in this
that's
case
why I said.
is an easement can be granted
Yes.
to a big undeveloped lot next door to be designed, to be NHDES approved. And that distinguishes it from your other cases too. So for this case, I think there's unique enough facts that meet the.
Well, and I'll be
criteria.
honest with you, I'm not real comfortable doing it on speculation. I mean, you know, you're saying that you have these easements in place, and you know, I have no reason to doubt that you actually do, but until it's right here in front of us, I have a difficult time.
I'm not saying the easements are in place at all, I'm saying the easement
Or
will be granted if the septic is approved and it can be dimensioned and located so an easement can be drafted and given. And if you grant the variance on that condition, that the easement be granted for an NHDES approved septic, if it's never approved and accepted and the easement's not given, the variance is no good because it will be given with that condition.
Now, because you have 100 feet back and the house is only gonna be 28 feet wide, can you go a little further back, or is there a hill or ledge?
That's going up the hill.
Oh, it is a big hill, okay. Because I was just, so the property,
That's why, yeah, we were looking to.
You can see
It's
the
not, the
elevation
house,
lines
the new
there.
house is not much bigger than the existing property altogether.
and I do see that, and you're actually putting the house further back, about
A
four,
little
further back than the existing house is.
Right.
So you're actually bringing it a little further back, I see that. And they're not, just so you know, that they are not, he has 22 feet on both sides of the home. So the setbacks on the sides meet. It's
Only-
just the front.
Only when you get back here. Until you get to that 50-foot spot, you have no side setback. Because the front is overtaking until you get to that 50 feet. Then you start by checking your sides. Because 50 goes all the way to the road. From edge to edge of property, 50 feet back, you don't fit in there. Then when you get to this part, 50 feet back, then you can start using your side, checking your sides. So you gotta get 50 feet back from that right away before, that's why this yellow thing is, I'm not sure what you don't understand about that.
Well,
The side's irrelevant because you haven't got out of that 50-foot right away. We're granting him what that sits on here, what he's showing.
But it's a square piece of property, if it's 22 on each side, it's gonna be 22 all the way back.
Right.
No, it's not. It's 50 all the way back till you get back to 50, then it starts to 22 on the sides. The yellow spot that he's shown is what you have for a building envelope. The sides are irrelevant till you get back 50 feet. You don't meet into the building envelope until you get back 50 feet from your right of way, all the way across the lot. That's where you're getting a variance
I
for.
guess I understand. I was just saying, because I overheard you say he's encroaching everywhere, but he's not.
It
On the
is,
side
except for this
setbacks.
little triangle is encroaching everywhere on your setbacks. This little triangle, he's meeting his building envelope right there.
You're referring to what little triangle?
This little triangle is the only spot you're putting that structure in that meets the requirement.
Yes, but if.
But we're requiring a variance to go up here. The sides are irrelevant, it's just, don't
Okay.
even talk about the sides.
Okay.
You're fitting in that 50-foot front
The
setback first.
point I make about the signs is that the new one won't encroach on the side yard setback, and the current one does. So at least you're, in a small way, decreasing the lot's nonconformity by curing that.
Okay, yeah, no, I appreciate that, yep,
Well-
okay.
Perhaps, but it's not a relevant concern to us because the law says you can stay within the footprint, so, yeah.
All right, so somebody want to make, any more discussion on number one?
We were on,
Good? You want to have the vote? Hearing no more
wait a
discussion?
minute, we're on.
We're just on number one still. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. What you can,
Uh,
all five voted for that one. All right, number,
That was the property value?
yeah, wouldn't diminish surrounding property values. So we voted on number one, the application for use or area variance.
That was 3 and 2.
Well, there's
3 abstained.
3, number 1. Section 3, number 1 on his application.
Yep, section 3.
Yep.
Do you have that application?
Yeah.
Section 3, okay.
I'm sorry, you have lost, you're,
We just voted on number 1, that one passed. That you,
which is.
the proposed use would not diminish the surrounding
Okay,
property.
I'm on the same page, yep.
The next one is the granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest because, and then you already went over your whole letter. Somebody want to make a motion?
Make a motion that we vote
To
accept it?
approve it? All right, somebody want to
Second.
second? Linda seconded it. All right, any discussion on number 2?
Number 2.
The variance would not be contrary to the public interest.
I'll just say that I think it is contrary because, you know, you're violating the setbacks. We have ordinances for a reason. I think they stay in the same footprint or, you know,
Do you know what
set
that-
it back further. I don't know.
And to that point, do you know what the shorter side of that footprint that you can fit into is? Is it 20 feet? Because it looks like it's about 20, because this is 28. So is that 20 foot wide? And it's probably wider there, but you wouldn't build a rectangle building.
The other
So it
thing
could be
is-
20 by 50.
Well, the
right?
other part is, I don't think that we can take into consideration that there's a hill there or vegetation because that's, you know, if you need to do some excavation work to make it fit, that's what you need to do. I understand it costs more money, but again, we have rules for a reason, and that's how I feel about it.
But, and I'm gonna just, the public interest, based on this one, is all about the safety of the town and the, you know, we do same, and it
The
sounds like.
safety
we
of the
can-
public that will travel on that right
Right, the
away.
safety of the public that will travel there, and I don't feel that there's gonna be any issues with that. I mean, it's not even a heavy traffic road, it's a private road, and we can get, safety vehicles and fire trucks down there.
So wouldn't you have to feel that way about all of them?
Mhm.
Anybody that came in and wanted to, doesn't matter
To put it 10
if
feet
it's
from the-
10 feet from the road or it's 50 feet from the road. I just don't,
It's not gonna be any closer to the road than it currently is.
Right,
In fact, it would be slightly set back from the current building.
a little further,
So-
yeah.
If you say it affects the public interest, then the existing home affects the public interest. It's
Yes.
not making it, so they gotta knock their own existing house down.
well,
and
you
do
can't
everything.
make them do that. They have the right to build it in the same
Well,
footprint.
that's what they're doing, they're putting this has to do with the setback, and it's not decreasing the setback. So how could the public interest be harmed when you're not making a change?
Well, it's encroaching on the setback.
It's encroaching on the setback as much as the current building does.
Actually, a little bit better, he's going back
They're
4 extra
they're
feet.
not getting closer to the road than they are now. It's the same setback.
And it's only the porch.
So if it's okay now, why is it wrong tomorrow?
It's okay now because the legislature says it is.
They're allowed to build the footprint, and the part that is affected by the setback is in the footprint of the old building.
Is somebody living there? No.
Summers, just during the summer.
Just still active, that's all. It can't be an abandoned structure, because then it's not even a structure anymore. Just wanted that on record.
Move to vote.
No, we just need to do the vote.
Let's do it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yep.
I'm opposed also. All right, it passes those, no, 3
3-2.
to 2. Jimmy and I voted no. Yep. All right, so now we go to 3.1, use variance.
Yep.
3.1A, zoning restriction as applied to the property interferes with the reasonable use of the property, considering the unique setting of the property and its environment such that, and then he went through the whole thing, number A, which was, what was this here? Should have turned the page first.
We all know about that, the unique setting, all those lots over there.
That's page 4, right? You're on number 3.1A. So you didn't really mark that out in the list like you did the first part.
We're doing the use variance 3.
Yeah, we 3.1A. Let's see where you addressed 1A. Back to.
It's all just about the,
Anybody have a motion on that one?
two.
Make a motion that we vote on.
No, you have to either approve or deny. That's the motion. Yep.
You make a motion to
A
approve?
motion to approve.
Is it
I'll
not
second.
applicable?
Okay.
Well, it's saying that because of the 50 foot, it interferes with the use, right? So and that's what I was trying to find. You know which page you actually explained that one? 1A? Because you went to number 2s and you didn't go to 3.
Down here, it's on page 5, I think.
I addressed the hardship argument at pages 6 and 7, and I
Yeah.
have verbally addressed your
Oh,
area
okay.
variance also, and I have spoken to the, you know, it's not, I'm not.
Somebody want to second Linda's motion?
I'll,
You already
I
did.
already did.
Okay. Did you get that, Robin?
Yeah.
Okay. And we're having the discussion.
Mhm.
Any discussion, Rory? We need to wait for Linda to get back.
all right, well, then when Linda comes back, we can vote. So again, interferes with the reasonable use, so this is mainly the unique setting of the property, all these little lots, that unique, and right now, it's the same, kind of like she was saying, the same footprint of what's there. Middleton, you gotta love it, all these nice little lots,
It's every town's the same. They've all,
especially the lake regions.
there's not a town in New Hampshire that doesn't have the same situation.
Yeah,
They, a
and
lot
we're
of
in a
them,
housing crisis, you know.
no, a lot of this started back
We
in
need
the
to get
50s
these
and
homes.
60s, right after the war. They built these lots for camps, so people with tents on them, not to put houses on them, not even camps.
Well, they were selling these ones in the Boston and
Oh, yeah, in the paper.
New York, New Jersey paper.
Where have you shopped around at different mobile home dealers?
The one in Rochester,
Oh, you are gonna go to them, okay, yep.
New style?
New Style Homes,
Yep, we went
My
to,
son, They did one for my son.
yeah, they'll be doing the work.
and that's good, I went there too, and then we ended up going with, Concord Home Sales over in Epsom. The Grigg Enterprises, so I had one delivered 3 years ago, and, I went through Concord Homes.
Did that go well?
Hmm?
Did that go well?
Very well, it was very well, because I had 2 people that I talked to that went through, New Style, and they had issues.
Yeah.
So I backed out, but we were going through New Style, and we're happy, we got a Skyline. They all come from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
These chairs are not the best.
I
They
think
do
the only
like-
thing
New
is,
Style Homes, you said people had some issues?
There was some couple down here on the lake somewhere, down on Pinkham or somewhere, yeah.
the only issue they usually have is like, once they set them up and they set, on the foundation for a year or so, the frost comes in, they move a little, might crack some sheetrock or something, and you gotta get after them to get back. But they used him up, he did New Style, and he didn't have any trouble with them. But
And you should ask for an upgrade to have the, what is it called, like a 512 roof pitch, is that what it is? Because manufactured homes look like a slant, or they look lower, and it's only, I think it's like 6,000 or 7,000, but if you do that upgrade for the roof pitch, literally looks like a ranch home.
Right, we've seen that on it.
Yeah, because he's got one there that's in the back of them that's huger, and it's only because of that, I don't know if that's what it's called, the 512.
For the exterior.
Yeah.
The exterior, yeah, but it actually, the home does not look like a manufactured, it look like a ranch, and it's bigger, wider. If you can afford it,
Bigger pitch makes it snow.
yeah, exactly, the pitch. I think that's what it's called, he's a contractor, so I know.
I think the house we looked at had like a 7 something.
Mhm.
712.
are you folks gonna live here, or are you still gonna use it just as,
Mostly summers.
mostly summer? Yeah.
Well, I might come up in the winter if I can skate on the
If we
lake
can
or
get the
something.
place in, if we can get it in, we can do it.
Well, actually, that end of the lake is, usually freezes pretty quick, and,
Right, it's very
and
shallow.
is pretty smooth compared to the other, because the wind blows down
Right.
in there, and the ice is more,
Yeah, we noticed
So-
that, like, when you get white caps, and, the lake itself is going crazy, and then once you get in our end, it's
That private road.
It's pretty.
it's a little more protected.
Do you
Yeah,
have any more discussion, Linda? No? All right, All in favor?
So what's this on,
Aye.
on the, just.
We're doing number 3 right here.
Number
3B.
3, 2, right, or B?
3-1, 3-1A.
3-1, I'm sorry.
Right,
Yep.
just read it and rip it.
No, we already read it, so,
All right.
but that's the zoning restriction one. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm opposed.
Yep.
So 2 opposed and 3, 2 opposed, and then 3 in favor.
It passed.
Yep. So 3-1B, that no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general purposes of the zoning ordinance and the specific restrictions on the property because no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general purposes of zoning and specific. I don't know where you address that.
Wrote the letter.
Anybody want to make a motion on that one?
I'll make a motion, we vote to approve.
I'll second.
Any discussion on it? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
I'm opposed.
I'm opposed also, so 3-1, 3-2, and it passes again. All right, so the variance would not injure the public or private rights of others since, and he explained it, because there's other ones there.
And it is a private road.
Any motion on that?
I'll make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Not injure the public or private rights of others.
Well, like I said before, I just feel like it injures everybody because we have rules. We're supposed to enforce them, but, they could stay in the footprint, they just want a bigger house, but that's up to you, you know, vote it.
That's what they're doing, they're staying in the footprint.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yep.
I'm opposed. So 3-2 again, passes. All right, then he's got 3.2A. The following special conditions of the property make an area variance necessary in order to allow the development as designed. Well, because it's outside, most all of it's outside the building. So to put it in where he's got a design, it needs the variance. Any motion on that?
I make a
To
motion.
approve.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? No discussion? All right. All
Well,
in
he talked
favor?
about the hardship, about the property layout and the land out back, so.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yep.
I'm opposed.
3-2.
3-2 again. All right. 3.2B, the same benefit cannot be achieved by some other reasonable, feasible, The same benefit cannot be achieved by some other reasonably feasible method that would not impose an undue financial burden because. Any make a motion on this one?
I'll make a motion that we approve.
Second.
Any discussion? So this one is that there's no other way to put it on this lot.
Right, but he's doing it exactly as they have there and going, kind of staying in the same footprint, so he's actually,
Just be careful. So that's all I'm gonna say. I'm going on record is just be careful what everybody's saying. So they're saying, you're telling them that it can't be achieved in any other fashion on this lot of putting that structure.
well, based on the hill and the growth.
Well, that's why you have machines to go in and dig the hill out and chainsaws to cut the growth down. Yes, it costs money, but you want a bigger house, it costs more money. It's not an unreasonable or an exorbitant amount. It is what it costs, you know, your son or daughter, if they were gonna build a house, they would have to meet those setbacks, they would have to dig that hill up. You want a bigger house, it costs more money. It's just that simple.
So they can keep the same footprint that they're basically in there, without destroying the land, without digging into the hills, without cutting down trees, and changing the character of this small lot. That makes
Do
more
you
sense.
do you know how much it costs the average person to get a septic system or a leach field where it needs to go, or a well for that
They're
matter,
not
to
coming here for
meet
that.
setbacks?
They're coming here for the setback.
You're
on the
wrong.
house.
Yeah, I adamantly disagree.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yep.
I'm opposed. So 3-2 again. All right. Number 4. We're on to number 4 already. Wow. Granting the variance would do substantial justice because then he went on to say about that they needed to be able to put this.
That's on page
structure.
6 if you want to review, but
I
it
don't
is
wanna
there
read
on
through
the
the whole
top.
thing again.
But yeah, on his letter, yeah.
Take a motion on this?
I make a motion that we vote to accept,
Or
approve.
approve?
Mhm.
Anybody second it?
Second.
Any discussion?
No, I don't think so.
No discussion.
We've got it here.
And this one's a little different. I mean, it gives them substantial justice because they can't, you know, if they're gonna put that house and they wanna put it there, that gives them the justice. I mean, so, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yep.
I abstain on this one. All right, it passed again. On to the last one, number 5. The use is not contrary to the spirit of the ordinance. Let's see. And this is, yeah, this one I always want to look at.
Make a motion that we accept the approved recommendation.
Any second?
Second.
All right, discussion. Now, this one was on. Yeah, this one was answered a little differently, but any other discussion?
This was the same one that Linda read earlier. Okay, so all that criteria that she read out of our zoning book, I agree that this is fine. This is, you know, not contrary to the spirit of the ordinance. I mean, we have,
And you feel that he answered that in this, answer to that spirit of
well,
the
he
ordinance?
talked to,
In his letter? You sure?
no, wait, let me see.
Okay. Good for me.
I talked about the lots, small size, and the short front lots, yeah. And it kind of just goes into the owners, but, general public, oh no, that was the general public one, okay. Well, I make a motion that we vote on, the last one, number
We've
5.
already got it.
Already done.
It's
Oh,
already
okay,
all
see,
done.
I'm already,
Yeah, he addresses.
Any more
section
discussion?
2.
no,
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed?
Yep.
I'm opposed. So that passes too. So we need to, since everything passed, somebody needs to make a motion on the conditions of this.
okay, yeah, to make sure that we have, I'd like to make a motion that the conditions are put out in the, exactly as he had mentioned about the easement and everything, that this variance goes along with this being deeded to the property and getting that approval from the state. However, I think Linda might have a better wording.
Well, he's fortunately an attorney Weiss has done a really nice job for us.
Yeah.
Setting it out for us on page 4 of his letter. The grant variance is from the zoning ordinance, Article 5, Section D3, Article 330, Section A1B, to allow a single-story replacement residential structure to be located as depicted on applicant's Exhibit 2 zoning sketch, compliant with side yard setbacks and approaching no further into the front yard setback than applicant's current dwelling, on the condition that a well and sewage disposal system serving the new residence be located on the abutting map 3, lot 67, by design approved by design, I think that's supposed to be just design, approved by the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services pursuant to an easement granted to the applicant by said lot 67 owners.
So Ron, make sure you copy that for the notes.
Yeah, just take it out of that
Yeah.
thing that he gave.
Copy all that, those.
Thank you for reading that, because we have to submit it, so. As submitted on his page 5. 4, it's all right. Did we
I
get a-
agree with those
Did
conditions.
we get a second on that?
I get a second, and I agree with the
Right.
conditions.
Okay, so Linda
You
made
made the motion.
Right.
I'll
Yeah, so
second
somebody
the
needs to
motion.
second it.
I'll second.
You made the motion that she read.
I read.
All right.
Oh, boy. Any other discussion?
Everybody's tired.
Yep. All in favor?
I,
They vote no.
Aye. The
The
condition
conditions.
about him having to have the septic easements. So I'm
All
in favor,
approved
I'm
by
in
the
favor
state
that he
law.
needs that, since he's already got the variance. He needs to have that.
Mhm.
He's already been granted the variance, so we want to make sure he has that.
Yep,
So that was unanimous,
yeah.
unanimous on that one, for the conditions. See that, you got an unanimous vote tonight.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Extra thank you. Double thank everybody. Except Jimmy.
Sure.
Learning. This whole new footprint stuff is interesting.
All right, the only other thing we had was the minutes. We want to table those to the
Oh,
next.
I'm
No,
Jim.
we have the budget as well.
You
You
gotta,
all from Middleton?
I make a motion to adjourn.
No, you can't adjourn.
you gotta accept the minutes.
You can't adjourn yet.
We need to accept the minutes. Yes, you have to be a member, a community member to be on the zoning board. Oh, I gotta have.
Dan. Alan.
It's a little Italian. Thank you, sir.
I'm a little Italian. I've been here
He's not a little Italian, he's Italian. Big Italian.
Thank you, good luck. Good luck.
Oh, that's fine.
Exactly.
I seen you.
Yeah, probably.
Italians.
No, I didn't, no, I never, no, I didn't drive down.
Well, come on down.
I was thinking of driving down, that's funny.
Why?
Stop
I
me.
know actually.
All right, yeah.
How far
That's
in are you?
We're about 3/4 of a mile in, and it's probably about a mile long.
She
Because I
said there's
had a
only 4
friend
houses
of
out
mine
there.
had
We're
a
about
place
to-
down there. How long have you guys been down there?
50 years,
So
well,
did you know
54 years.
Everett
Wait,
Herson?
Who?
Herson?
Yeah,
And then his
Up in
son
Wakefield.
got the
He's a
property and he fixed the camp
He's old
all
enough.
up and built a good-sized garage
Out back?
across the road.
Yeah.
Yep, I used to get
All
out
right, so
there.
we gotta go
all
over,
the
what did we gotta go over the?
Yeah.
Alright, so
Okay.
what we need to do is we
Thank
need
you.
to
Thank you.
correct the
Good luck.
minutes from the 16th, from the April 16th meeting, to take
Yeah.
out Craig Moody.
Why, cause
He was not there,
Right.
so we need to take him out.
we're gonna take him out? No, that's not my job. Dan used to do that stuff, not me.
I'm
So,
retired now.
Why did we have Craig Mooney in there?
Because Craig Moody was accredited as saying something, he was not there at the event.
Oh.
It looked like me from the back. I was.
Oh,
So
yes,
we just need to correct that to take him out.
cause he wasn't there.
Right.
So we're gonna take out the statement totally, cause you don't know who it was, right?
No, I actually found out who it was, and I put it in
Did you correct that? And this is which minutes?
there. Yeah.
April 16th.
Harold Bennett.
Oh, yeah, April 16th, that was months ago.
I took out Craig Woody, one shot of that, 112 Farmers Road, and instead it's Harold Bennett, 153 Citizens.
Oh, this is back on that workforce housing.
hold it.
Yeah, it was just a minute. Did you see objection?
Now that that's done, can I make a motion?
Nope, we need to do one more thing.
So
need to
we haven't
do
voted on that yet.
the budget.
No, we haven't voted on
Can
correcting
we
the
do the
minutes.
budget at the next meeting, cause,
No, it
It's
needs to be.
due the 18th, it's due 2 days. We can make it real quick.
Okay.
Alright, so we're gonna approve the changes to the minutes?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Yeah,
Wait a minute, do we have a motion on that?
Yeah.
I make a motion to change
And
that.
Linda probably is gonna second it, I can tell.
Sure.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No, good. All right.
Can I just, while we're being recorded and that this is on the record, I know because Robin had told me that, Mr. Moody was very upset that he was named as the person that made the comment at the meeting. And it's my understanding that when he viewed the tape, he thought it looked like him from behind. It was an honest mistake, and we're very sorry that Craig's name was brought up, Mr. Moody's name was brought up, and now that it's been corrected, I hope that everything's okay.
All right, does anybody have any changes to that other, September
Budget.
17th?
We're gonna do a budget.
No, this
Oh,
will
you
be 2
wanna do
seconds.
that?
The other minutes,
Yeah.
anybody have any changes? No?
No,
All right, look
Motion
all
to
great
approve
to
them?
me.
I can't, I'll abstain because I haven't had a chance to read
you
it.
don't have to understand.
I haven't read it.
Doesn't matter, do you?
I can't approve them if I.
All right, want to make a motion to approve them?
I'll make a motion that
I
we approve the
I
minutes.
second it. All in favor?
Aye.
I
And you
abstain.
abstain, so those are all good. All right, now
All right, quickly the
the
budget.
budget.
All right, so newspaper notices, last year we budgeted 250, we ended up spending 1,000.
Ah,
So my recommendation is we increase that to either 1,000 or 2,000 this year.
So,
do we have to stay within 3% of our budget?
It's a bottom line budget for everything, so the town has to stay within 3%.
right, but all those fees come in from the applicant, so how does that get recorded? So it should zero out.
It should be in theory zero out, except that we agreed to pay for a couple of, news ads. However. I
So is
will
this
say
too-
The rest of it, I think, is a bookkeeping error.
Okay, so how
So
much
is-
do you think it's gonna be?
I think on the safe side, we should say $1,000, just to keep some money in there.
Okay.
So the 1,000,
1,500.
Hold on.
is the 1,026 beyond what we collected from people?
That's without the collection being credited there.
So,
We paid out.
So there's probably another, at least 500 that we collected that's not part of that number.
okay.
So hold
I'd
on,
have to see the actual entries.
hold on. Theoretically, it should be a wash.
Exactly.
So the 2 times, I'm assuming it was,
About 300.
that so that was about 300.
Yeah.
I would suggest that we bump it to 5,
Okay.
and we should be good.
Okay, yeah.
Because I know there's been some issues with bookkeeping too, and they've worked on it, and they've
Right.
been audited, and they've
Because
fixed some
everybody's
stuff.
got to realize that that's beyond what we're getting from the applicant anyhow, technically. If you,
Well, I just know that if we go over 3%, we're gonna get scrutinized, somebody's gonna have to explain it at the town meeting.
I mean, it should-
Could very well be
We're going to
me.
end up having to go
Right.
get scrutinized anyway,
Right.
but
So I mean, 500 I think is reasonable for something that should be a wash anyway.
so 500.
Anybody, how do you guys feel?
I'm fine with that.
Yep.
Okay.
What happens if we don't spend the money?
It stays in general
Stays in
fund.
general fund. All right. So
We have a party.
ZBA workshops. We budgeted last year 300. We spent 50.
We'll go up to 1.
So my recommendation would be that we do 100.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Legal. Last year we budgeted 3,000. So far we've spent 10,000.
That's it?
That's it.
Might wanna move that one up a little.
I think we need to substantially increase that.
I would say 12,000, but
Well, I think.
We're gonna be questioned.
Do
we're
we have,
having a question,
should,
but we have an answer.
all right, so I have a question. Should we do a warrant article to ask for more money? I mean, yes, we've had a big case going on. However, I
It's
think
done.
with the influx of building and land being sold and projected building, that maybe, because that's a huge increase, that's gonna put us well over the threshold of 3%.
Right, but
They
it
don't
was
have
And I
to
think
grant
there
it either.
Is it feasible to do a warrant article to ask for, because it probably should be like 15.
it's feasible.
And I think that they
And it would
voted
go
in.
back into the general fund anyway if it wasn't
Alright.
used.
So, all right, so you want to do a warrant article for more? What do you want to put that at
I
right
don't
now?
know, what do you guys think?
15,
I think that's a minimum.
yep, minimum.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that, actually, to be honest, I think it'll pass. I think they'll
Okay.
agree with us. They want us to be safe and protected.
15,000.
Yeah.
It's to be a warrant article.
Mm-hmm.
So does that come off of that line then?
Yes.
Okay.
So you won't leave any money in there?
What's that?
You won't leave any money in?
Well, I'll leave what's in there now.
Oh,
and
3,000.
ask.
Yeah, and then do a warrant article for 15.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Reference material, we budget 300. We spend nothing. I say we leave $1 in there just to keep the line open.
What was it?
300, we budget
Reference
for what?
material.
reference material.
Reference material.
Are we
No, I
making
wanna
any
keep money in
progress
there.
in getting
I want
our
some
zoning
stuff.
maps?
The tax maps are being updated right now.
No, zoning maps from regional planning.
No, nothing about it.
They should be, we should get them for free to start the county regional planning, but then we may ask for some money, that would be reference material.
How much is in
so-
And I
there
think we need
now?
some court case things like that.
You want to leave it at 300 then?
Bring it down to 200.
Why don't we review it next year if it doesn't?
So we're gonna leave it at 300 for now?
How can we function
Yeah.
without zoning maps?
Okay. Office supplies, we budgeted $1, we spent nothing. Leave it as $1.
Yeah.
Yep.
Done. Okay,
She doesn't have.
we'll make those changes.
All right, perfect.
So none of that, do we pay for all that copying that you do for us? Is
I
that,
don't know where it comes from.
That comes from the general office budget.
okay, because she does help us with
Yeah.
all these great copies. Thank you so much for all you do.
You do an awesome job.
All right,
Really
so,
Make a motion to adjourn?
nope.
Oh, you're gonna get to leave, don't worry.
Jim, you need to make a motion?
Yeah, we have to go into non-public to discuss, some attorney board business.
Under RSA.
And that's about me. so I-
91-A:3. Consideration of legal advice provided by legal counsel, either in writing or orally, to one or more members of the public body, even when legal counsel is not present. And that has to be roll call vote.
And what is it, RSA, what, I wanted to look it up, what?
93, oh no, sorry, RSA 91-A:3.
And
Okay.
then, isn't there a number after that?
Oh, 2, yes,
2,
2.
And this is, we have to meet with her again?
No,
2A,
just,
2B, 2C,
2L.
2L, okay.
won't take long,
Alright, so that needs to be a roll call vote.
I promise.
So what do we need?
Well, you gotta recuse yourself, cause this is.
No, this is a roll call vote to go into it, so we have to do it first and then I can leave.
Okay.
So yes, you do
Explain it again, just say it, because Jimmy was talking, I didn't hear you.
consideration of legal advice provided by legal counsel, either in writing or orally, to one or more members of the public body, even where legal counsel is not present.
Alright, so,
So Jim made the motion,
yeah, somebody seconded it?
I'll second.
Dan second.
All in favor?
It has to be roll call.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's be a roll
Oh,
call.
go ahead.
Linda, yes.
Start with, start
Yes.
Chuck, yes?
Jim.
Laurie, yes, sorry.